So I'll have to come back in and see if this Wi-Fi gets any better. We'll see. How it all pans out. This is the book club. We're going over the power of your subconscious mind. We're covering chapters 9, 10, and 11. And they're all dealing with money, your wealth, the wealth that is inherent in all. Chapter 9 is how to use the power of your subconscious for wealth. Hey, Gigi. Hey. I had to start the live over, so we'll see if the Wi-Fi gets better. If not, we're just gonna have to rock with it. We'll see. See how it goes. Let me change the landscape. Put these boxes up here. So you can come on up. You coming up, Gigi? Why you won't let me change? Okay, there we go. Okay, there it is. Okay. Hopefully the connection is better. We'll see. Because I was on for about a good 10 minutes. Gigi left and came back in, so we'll see. But yes, the power of your subconscious mind to create your wealth, and you get to define what wealth is, right? This life should be about love, joy, peace, health, wealth, and success. That's what I'm determining. Love, joy, peace, health, wealth, and success. That's the happy life. That's a full life. That's a fulfilled life. Yes. So this book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, it helps you to remember that, you get to decide what reality you're going to live in. It's so easy for us to get caught up in what the world is doing, to lose focus and to, get caught up in, history and narratives and what, the government is saying, what this person is saying, what that person is saying. And you have to learn how to regain focus and understand that this way is narrow, and you have to have tunnel vision. And you have to learn how to realign and refocus, because sometimes you can veer to the left or veer to the right, and you want to go straight away. Straight away. Hey. Great day, A-Town. Welcome. I had to start the live over, so we'll see how it goes. I wonder if I should get on my laptop. Okay. Oh, were you? Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We'll get this live cracking. Put your requests in, so I'm not a one-man show. Let's see what you all have gleaned from your readings. Power of your subconscious mind. Manifesting wealth. Because we are here to have an abundant life. Got to let go of the scarcity mindset, the lack mentality. All right. As Joseph Murphy says, poverty is a disease of the mind. That everything is in abundance. All you got to do is really look at your world and you'll see the proof is in the pudding. It's an abundance everywhere you look. It's always more than enough. Always. Always, always, always. So we got to come up and share, guys. So we want to continue with the book club. Got to be willing to share what you've gleaned and what you've learned. And because we're all here to share, not necessarily teach, but to share. So we help one another on this path, right? We got enough teachers in the world. We don't need teachers. We don't need leaders. We don't need teachers. We just need to be examples of truth. Hey, Alexa, how are you? Are we all good here? Hey, Dream Woman, you want to come up too? Yes.
Morning.
Good morning.
Happy June.
Happy June. It is June 1st, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, the 6th month of the year.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, family? How y'all doing?
Great.
Hey,
How you
good
doing?
morning.
Excelente. So we on chapters. What were the chapters again?
9, 10, and 11.
Okay, yeah. I read them, but I had to go back and kind of regurgitate some more stuff. So I've just been kind of all over the place. But say that again.
Finish the book.
Yep. But I'm going back because of the book club. I'm going back, but yeah, I finished it. Good stuff.
That's good.
That's all I'm gonna say. Good stuff.
Great stuff, right? All right.
Yeah. Some good gems.
Hey, Siobhan. So who wants to kick it off?
I have a success story.
All right, let's go. Let's hear it.
Well, remember at the last book club, I was in Watertown, and we were driving back, and we went to the Wisconsin Dells because we had to get gas, and we stopped at the Dunkin' Donuts there, and I just loved the vibe. Everybody was like, the vibe was really cool. I mean, I like the colors of that Dunkin' Donuts, and the people were so nice, and they gave us free donuts, free apple fritters, and they supersized my drink. And I only asked for like a refresher, and then she's like, "Oh, do you want to take some donuts with you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to." And she goes, "You want?" I said, "How much is it?" She goes, "No, it doesn't cost you anything." Does you want these last 2 apple fritters? And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And I'm like, "How much is it?" She goes, "It doesn't cost you anything." Wow. And the whole day I was affirming, everybody's nice to me. Everybody's nice to me. Everywhere I go, people are so nice. I'm having a great day. People are so nice. I'm having a great day. And my husband was kind of like, because he needed to get some certain kind of oil or something for the car, and he's like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna find it. I'm like, we found it. Don't worry about it. They have it. It's in there. And the people at O'Reilly's were like super nice to him too. They were like, oh, we got this oil, this oil. They even ended up giving him some kind of a window, I'm sorry, a car refreshener thing that you put on the rear view mirror. They even gave him that. I mean, it's like we were getting stuff everywhere we went. Went to Quick Trip. We ended up getting free stuff there too. It's like, I was like, wow.
Oh, nice. That's what's up. That's what's up.
And then I've been using the word, opulence and abundance. I've been liking that one more. Abundance. Oh my God. It's like everybody's nice and everybody's abundantly nice. And I'm having an abundantly beautiful day. And I'm receiving great things in abundance. Thank you. And of course, giving thanks while I'm doing this. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. I can believe it. It's just, it's more like, it amazes me. It's not that I don't believe it. I do. It's just, it amazes me. Even though we believe this and everything, but I like that the universe surprises you, even though you're going to receive and whatnot, but it surprises you, which is cool. That's why it's good not to focus on how and when and whatnot, because, when you don't focus on that and you just, come from that place of that, you got it, the universe surprises you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. Love that for you, Gigi. Yes.
Thank you. And I highly recommend try those apple fritters at Dunkin' Donuts. Oh my God, they're so good. Oh.
Okay. Wonderful. 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 So let's delve into the book. Unless you got your success story you want to share, A-Town.
Well, I do, but I was about to ask you, the collective. So is it that the universe surprises us, or we just tap into the right universe?
I have no idea. I just go with the flow.
How's it a surprise if you expecting it?
Yeah. I was
right, because I mean, so we're always wealthy, we're always abundant.
Yeah.
We've always been, but we haven't noticed it. So I think being able to come in consciousness with what your original intent is, I think that's what it kind of happens.
Yeah. We say surprise because you don't know which way it's coming from, but you should expect goodness and greatness and abundance, right?
Yeah, in our reality, it's already wealth, it's already done. So our concept of what's being manifested we should already feel it, right? The feeling is the secret.
Yeah, we should already be expecting it. Yeah.
And more.
Yep.
Yeah.
I expect it, but I mean, I wasn't like looking for it. So I mean, in my 4D, what they call it, the 4D or the 5D or whatever you want to call it, in your imagination, it's probably easier to say. Pretty soon they're gonna come up with a 10D. Anyway, with your imagination, while I was saying that, I pictured just good things. Sometimes I see a picture, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's just you feel good or a sensation, and then you just go about your day. And then I think the surprising aspect is as it shows up in your 3D, So I mean, to me, it feels like it's like a beautiful surprise.
Yeah.
So
the method does not matter.
Exactly.
Right.
All roads lead to manifestation.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's good, Toyia.
All roads lead to it.
All roads lead to manifestation. I like that. Sounds like a good
that's
title
good.
for a movie.
I see that being a sign. I see that being like a sign, like an actual, like get your mind right. All roads lead to manifestation.
Like
that's dope.
Get your mind right. I like that one.
Yeah. So with that being said, Gigi, what you're actually going into the book, I think it was the miracle working power of the subconscious, where it was like the subconscious is enormous. It inspires you, it guides you, and it reveals to you names, facts, scenes from the storehouse of your memory. So you know, I'm just kind of inquiring, really. So, do you feel like you're tapping into your subconscious because you have the memory that you are already wealthy, and that's what is the surprise?
Um, I'm I I've always we all have always tapped into our subconscious. It's just that now we're doing it on purpose, instead of like, okay, whatever comes along. Now we're more focused on the desires that I actually, desire. But um I have been doing that more, where I'm doing what Dr. Joseph Murphy says, is keeping my mind on the good things. And the Bible says the same thing. Keep your mind on what's good, what's peace, healthy, joy, love, prosperity. Keeping my mind on things that are good. And if my mind, or the conscious side, or what they call the devil, wants to, you know, go against it, I will, reinforce it, and say, and say what I actually desire, and give thanks for it, or even quote a scripture and say, well, the Bible says that I delight myself in him, and he gives me the desires of my heart. So thank you. I'm delighting myself in you. I'm delighting myself, and you're giving me the desires of my heart. And I'll repeat that over and over. And whatever that thought that's not serving me goes away, because I'm just focusing on what I desire. And at times, maybe because I'll say, oh, I love when you when you surprise me. Thank you for the beautiful surprises. So I guess that's why my subconscious, like, to me, it seems like it's a surprise. But I don't know. To me, it just feels that way whenever, something good happens or whatever. To me, it's a beautiful surprise. So it's hard to explain, but but I guess I am tapping into my subconscious mind.
Right. So like these three chapters about wealth, right? The
Yeah.
riches of the subconscious mind, right? Living an abundant life. And so
Right.
the beginning of the chapter says wealth is simply a subconscious conviction on the part of the individual. You will
Right.
not become a millionaire by saying I am a millionaire. I am a millionaire. You will grow into a wealth consciousness by building into your mentality the idea of wealth and abundance. So you have to ask yourself, how do you think of abundance? What is your idea of wealth? Because that's the premise from which things outgrow. Because as within, so without is what you impress upon your subconscious, which is your deeply held beliefs, right? That's what you will experience. And so you have to change the premise. If you think that money is hard to get, then that's what your subconscious is going to manifest for you, because your subconscious is the genie in the bottle. It's going to give you your wishes. If your wish is I have to struggle, I have to strain, I have to sacrifice, life is hard, then you will have experiences to what confirm that belief. But if you decide to transform your thinking and see that life is easy and light and things come to you in an effortless way, and you surrender to the belief of wealth, then your subconscious mind will create a reality that will confirm that. You just have to decide what reality do you want to confirm.
That's a hard
Yeah.
path.
Oh, go ahead, Aton. I'll wait after you. Go ahead, honey.
Okay, I was just gonna say, just to piggyback off of Toya, because it says if you're having any difficulties, if you're trying to make ends meet, it's saying that you have not been convinced, you have not convinced your subconscious mind that you will always have plenty and some to spare, right? So, you know, so to Toya's point, it's we in those instances where we don't, or we are experiencing a certain level of lack or something like that. What do you feel like is the convincing of our subconscious? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, you could call it subconscious, you can call it the I am, source, God, because he's equating the subconscious mind, the power to the I am, right? To the source of all things, the creator and man. So yes, you're giving instructions to the divine, and he's just calling it the power, the subconscious mind, right? The womb of creation. So you are the conscious part of you is deciding what will come into manifestation based on your own personal beliefs, right? That's why you say it's an individual thing. It's not collective. It's individual. It's how you perceive it. That's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to create.
See, I just had an epiphany because when I was reading that part where he says, well, no one, you don't get rich by saying I am a millionaire, I am a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. But then I was having like one of those, like I had with the Neville Goddard book. I'm like, wait a minute. I was like kind of talking to the book. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I've said I am healthy. I am healthy. And then I just had an epiphany just now. But when I say I am healthy, I start incorporating ideas. I am healthy. I'm healthy from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet, from the inside of my body to the outside of my body. My heart is healthy. My vitals are healthy. I feel good. I feel strong. And okay, so when I am wealthy or I am a millionaire, I have X amount of money in the bank. I can afford anything I want to buy because I have money. I am wealthy, or whatever wealth, the idea of wealth is to you. And I just got an epiphany. So thank you. Thank you, T. Thank you, A-Town. Thank you, God. Thank you for that epiphany. Because that one was that particular spot there was kind of bugging me a little. Mm-hmm. And I was like, when Toyia mentions it, I'm going to ask her about it. And I said, and I know I have an answer. I have an answer to this. Before even the live started, I said this to myself yesterday. And just now, when I was thinking about it, while you were talking about it, the epiphany, it just hit. So adding ideas behind it. Okay, because that's what I do with health. That's what I do with everything else. I just noticed that everything else, I put ideas behind it. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Cool. Love it. Awesome. Okay. Continue, T. Continue.
Your dream woman said, can you explain your epiphany again?
Sure. Hi, dream woman. How's it going? In chapter 9, Dr. Joseph Murphy was saying that no one becomes rich by saying I'm a millionaire. So I didn't understand it because, I am is God is, so when you're saying whatever you put behind God is, that's what you become. That's what you receive. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and then I was getting ready to ask T about it, but since we're all connected, T started speaking about it. And while she was talking with A-Town, I got an epiphany when something you were saying, when you said ideas, that's what you said, the idea of wealth. And I'm like, okay. And then it just came to me that when I say I'm healthy, because I say I'm healthy, I am happy, whatever I put, I am behind, but I also add ideas. So for example, with health, instead of just saying I am healthy, I say I am healthy. I am feeling great. My vital signs are healthy. My major organs are healthy. I'm healthy from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet, from the inside of my body to the outside of my body. So even if you put one idea, two ideas behind that, I guess it super fuels it a lot faster than just saying I am this, I am that. Although I do believe that if you say, I am a millionaire, I am wealthy, a couple of times, if you continually say it, you become it, because you can say I am smart, I am intelligent, and pick up things and understand them, go to school and pick up things and understand just by simply saying I am smart. So I don't know, that spot there's a little bit contradictory. Because I've said I am, for example, I've said I am smart, and I haven't really added anything to it, or maybe I have, I don't know. But
Well, Gigi, what it says though is it speaks on, so what the part that you're speaking of for Dream Woman is wealthy is simply a subconscious conviction on the part of the individual. You will not become a millionaire by saying I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. You will grow into a wealthy consciousness by building into your mentality the idea of wealth and abundance. To your point, Gigi, when you say I am to certain things, there what in the book it says that there's no conflict in the mind when you say wealth, right? And so certain things you may not notice, or you may take note of it now, where certain things don't have a conflict, as such as like your wealth or your health, or certain things that come easy. But to other things, there may be a certain level of conflict, because it says they represent the inner power of the subconscious mind. Anchor your mind on this substantial power that's within you, the conditions and the circumstances corresponding to their nature and quality that's manifested in your life. So, so it says you're not saying I am wealthy, you're dwelling on the real powers within you, because there's no conflict in the mind when you say wealth. Furthermore, the feeling of wealth will well up within you as you dwell on the idea of wealth. So I think that kind of piggybacks off to what what you were saying as far as getting those ideas.
see, for me, I think it works either way. I mean, because even in the Bible, I believe it's in the book of Joel, where it says, "Let the weak say I am strong, let the poor say I am rich, let the sick say I am healthy." So I think the moment that you start saying that you are something, and the more you say it, you become it. Like, I don't know if you guys ever seen The Real World LA. This is back in the 90s. It's on YouTube. There was the surfer kid, and he was always thinking of himself as stupid. That he was stupid, that he was getting horrible grades in school and all this kind of stuff. And when he started hearing other people calling him that, he didn't like it. So he said that he went from saying I am stupid to saying I am smart. And he started saying I am smart, I am smart, I am smart. And all of a sudden, he started picking up things in class. Things started coming to him faster. He started he went from getting D's to getting straight A's and making the honor roll. So I believe that I believe the more you say that you are something, like if you say I am smart, you will begin to embody that person that's smart. And then I think as you say I am smart, you'll begin to get what ideas you perceive as smart. So that one to me was a bit, that spot there. I think maybe what he meant is if you say it, I guess, robotically or in vain, or if you're saying it but in your mind you're really thinking, nah, that's not true, or you're thinking, yeah, money's hard, or if you get you just said it and then a bill comes in, you're like, I can't afford to pay that, like you're wavering, then maybe just saying I'm a millionaire, but you have these like stinking thinking about money in your mind. Okay, just had another epiphany. If you're thinking, bad things about money, and you're saying I'm a millionaire, but you're thinking bad things about money, then it's what you're predominantly thinking that's going to manifest. If you've been told, money's dirty, like he even says in the chapter, money's dirty, money's evil, what have you. You're thinking that money's a bad thing, but you're saying I'm a millionaire. It's like you're wavering. It's like somebody saying, "Oh, I want to get married," but men cheat, men lie, but I want to get married. I'm married, but men cheat, men lie, and then they wonder why they attract the man that cheats and lies. Well, because even though they're saying they want to get married, they haven't changed their thought about, men are good, men are sweet, men are nice. Instead, they're thinking they cheat and they lie. So I'm thinking, yeah, that spot there kind of was like, huh. I don't know. What do you think, T?
We're all right, because it's all according to your belief. It's always done unto you as you believe,
exactly.
right? So
yeah.
Yes, I think he was only referencing that, as you said, if you're doing out of vain repetition. Because here's the thing. Yes, you can get $1 million just by saying, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, right? It's not about the getting, and that's what people think. It's about the being.
Right.
So that's why he's saying you want to get the consciousness of wealth. So when you have the consciousness of wealth, regardless of what your bank account says, you'll always have plenty of whatever you need. And
Right.
it won't be measured in dollars and cents. Like making people not having $1 million doesn't mean they're not wealthy. People having $1 million doesn't necessarily equate to wealth, because if you have millions but have no health, no peace, no joy, right? Is that real? Would you really consider that person to be wealthy? No, you would consider that person to have money. They have money, but do they have wealth? Because wealth is more than just the amount of money in a bank account.
Right. So yeah, I mean, even when you start, if you're saying, which I actually agree with, that you have to also change what's inside, because if you're saying I am a millionaire, or I have money, or I am wealthy, and you're accumulating wealth to money, which mostly a lot of people do, but you're thinking, I can't. But you get a bill and say, oh my God, I got this bill. How am I going to pay for it? But you just affirmed that you're wealthy. If you're a wealthy person, doesn't think that way. So I believe that in this aspect, incorporating ideas of wealth, like, I am wealthy. I get bills, I can pay them and have mad money to spare. Oh, that car there, I can buy 2 of those cars. Or, like a little kid would do, and you and that kind of will help, be able to accept more that affirmation, as opposed to just saying it and having, like I said, stinking thinking behind it. Like, if you're thinking money is a bad thing, or it's hard to get, or there's not enough for everybody, or you have to work hard for it. Like I see here on TikTok that a lot of other TikTokers on here, they'll say, like, I am rich because I'm me. I get paid to be me. I am rich because I'm me. I get paid to be me. I get paid to be myself. My job is just being me. And I've used that. And when I've gone live on Facebook, or my husband and I have done like jams, whatever, playing music where we're not even hired to play, we've gotten paid for it. Like we just did a thing on Friday for a club we wanted to play at, and we ended up getting free food, free drinks, and we got paid.
Nice.
Got paid like with people were giving us tips, and the owner's like, I want to book you, and the owner paid us. I'm like, well, this is like a karaoke and playing live music kind of fun thing. We were just here for fun, and yeah, we ended up getting like close to $500 and some odd. And my husband's like, I can't believe it. I'm thinking to myself, oh, I can. I'm like, thank you, because I started saying, I get paid to be me. I get paid just to be me. And I see a lot of TikTokers on here say that, like on their platforms. They'll say that they get paid to be themselves. I'm like, well, if they can do it, well, so can I.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe for them they get paid to be them for their content that they do. And I say, I get paid to be me. I play music. I get paid to be me. I get paid to be me. I play music anywhere, whether I'm playing for fun or whatever. Somehow I always get money, So adding, I think that in order to redirect that mentality that a lot of us have had since children, that money's hard to get, money don't grow on trees, things like that. By just saying I'm a millionaire, but if you're thinking in your mind that, it's hard for you to pay a bill, or you don't have enough, or whatnot, if that's the predominant thought in your head, that's the one that's going to manifest.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Adding, ideas, it would help kind of get rid of that stinking thinking, and the more you repeat it, the more you do it, the more that old thinking kind of gets out of the way, and then the new thinking, the new thoughts become, uh, you know, more predominant, and then you'll start seeing what you're desiring, because now your subconscious and your conscious mind, like they say, is in agreement, is married, and that's when you begin to see, your desire.
Yeah, he says, if you are full of fear about the future, you are also writing a blank check and attracting negative conditions to you. Your
Right.
subconscious mind takes your fear and negative statement as your request and proceeds in its own way to bring obstacles, delays, lack, and limitation into your life. Yeah, so if you're thinking just saying I am a millionaire is what's going to be like some magic pill, and you don't believe it. I know a lot of people tell you don't have to believe it, right? You don't have to believe it. Believe only means to accept it. You have to accept the wealth. And like Gigi was saying, your acceptance of the end wills the end to that.
Right.
The acceptance of the end wills the means to the end, right? So what's the means? The way in which the circumstances play out.
Right.
That's the means. That's the part you don't have to worry about. When you have the consciousness of wealth, not just saying I am wealth, but having the consciousness of wealth, circumstances play out. So like Gigi said, I have the consciousness of getting free things. So wherever I go, I get something for free. Wherever I go, people are always willing to give me something just for me being there. I'm in Dunkin' Donuts, so guess what? I get free apple fritters. I get an upgrade in my drink. I get this. I go play for a club or establishment, and then they give me free drinks and food, and then they also pay me, right? I have the consciousness of that, right? So having a consciousness means it's not a one hit. You're not a one hit wonder, right? This happens on a regular basis because it's who you know yourself to be.
That's why repetition
is so important.
That's why repetition is key.
Yeah.
You repeat it, and as you repeat it, you can say I'm a millionaire, and you can repeat I'm a millionaire. You close your eyes, I'm a millionaire. Oh yes, I have 2 Ferraris. I'm a millionaire. I travel all over the world. I'm a millionaire. Oh, that bill I can afford to pay. That's nothing.
Yeah, because here's the difference between, this is what he's saying when it comes to I'm a millionaire versus having a consciousness, right? Okay, right. You just spend 10 minutes saying I'm a millionaire, right? And then as soon as you go to the store, you go in complaining about how much something costs. So as soon as your credit card bill comes in, you're complaining about having to pay that. You're complaining about, how much bread costs or eggs costs or how much you got to pay at the gas pump, or you're complaining that taxes went up or that your mortgage went up. That's not having the consciousness of wealth. You're actually having the consciousness of lack, even though you just spent 10 minutes proclaiming I'm a millionaire.
Exactly. I mean, even when we get bills, I'll look at a bill and be like, oh, well, we can pay that. We got paid. Don't worry about it. And my husband's like, what do you mean? I was like, we're millionaires. We can pay that. And he'll look at me and go, okay. I'm like, yeah, okay. You can pay that. There's 2 words that I do not use the P word. Those P words. Unless it's prosperity. Prosperity is one of my favorites. Popular prosperity. And I do not use the B word either. Nope. It rhymes with oak. No. The P word that rhymes with or. And the B word that rhymes with oak. Nuh-uh. Those do not go in my vocabulary. I mean, I even see $1 and I say, oh, I'm rich. Look at that.
Exactly. Because you have to choose which thoughts to have, right? You have to choose it. It says your subconscious multiplies and magnifies whatever you deposit in it. Every morning as you awaken, deposit thoughts of prosperity, success, wealth, and peace. Dwell upon these concepts. Busy your mind with them as often as possible. These constructive thoughts will find their way as deposits in your subconscious mind and bring forth abundance and prosperity. As Philippians 4:8 says, right? This is how you should be thinking.
Right.
Thinking. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. what's
So this is
constantly on your mind, right? What you're impressing upon the subconscious. And when you have that meditation of what it means to be wealthy, a millionaire, to be successful, to have joy and peace and love and all those things, when you're meditating on that, it should be feeling like a reality to you. It should feel normal. It should feel natural. That's what feeling is the secret means. It's not about an emotional high. It's not about an excitement. It's about normalcy, natural.
Yep. Conviction, knowing. Yep.
Exactly. Conviction, knowing. Yes.
And you practice that. You practice that every day. I mean, you're not. Some people might get it on the first day. Some people might take a little longer. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's like working out. You know, first time you do 100 sit-ups, the first day you feel great. The second day your body's like, yeah, I don't think so, but you do it anyway. The third day it might be a little bit sore, but you do it anyway. By the fourth or fifth day, it gets easier. So that's what you do. You just practice it. You practice it. And again, I had another epiphany. You just practice it. That's what repetition is. You just keep practicing it. I mean, because we've practiced so much the opposite. We've practiced so much, you know, that there isn't enough. We've practiced so much that there's lack, though. This is expensive. We've practiced that so much, so now we need to practice the opposite. You know, like I started saying, eggs are cheap. So we went to Quick Trip here, bought a dozen of eggs for 99 cents. My husband's like, we've been finding eggs cheap. What the heck? And I'm like, yeah, because eggs are cheap. They're not expensive, eggs are cheap. And we've been finding them cheap, you know, at different stores. Just by simply saying, you know, eggs are cheap. Wherever store I go to, I find that eggs are cheap. So, you know, and then, but maybe that's something that I've accepted already. So maybe that's why I'm seeing it a lot faster. Other things might take a bit, you know, but that's okay. You know, don't worry about how long it takes. Who cares? Who gives a rat's how long it takes?
Say that. Say that. Say that.
You know, yep. Who gives a rat's? Or, you know, who gives a shit how long it takes? You know, who cares? It's not about that. It's you're not trying to get anything. It's something that you already have this. It already exists. You're not trying to get anything. So you don't look at it like trying to get something. It's like a little kid. You know, a little kid, if they say they're a doctor, you know, and they're playing doctor in their home, you know, and you're like, oh, how cute. They don't say they're trying to be a doctor. That, you know, they say, I'm a doctor, and they'll wear the little plate stethoscope, and they'll grab the doll, and they'll check the doll's heart and everything, and they'll be like, no, Mom, don't call me, you know, Emily. No, call me Dr. Emily. Oh, okay. You know, oh, Mom, you're not feeling well. Oh, here, take 2 cookies and a glass of milk, and call me in the morning and let me know how you're feeling. Yep. And she's thinking in her head, she's Dr. Emily. And there's some kids that, you know, to them it's a game, and other kids are like, no, that's me. I'm a doctor. And then you wonder why why did Emily grow up to be a doctor? Well, Emily's been claiming that she's a doctor since she's been 5 years old.
Yep.
So you can even call her Emily. She wants to be called Dr. Emily.
Yeah.
You know, and she says it seriously. No, I'm Dr. Emily. Goes to school. You can't call her Dr. No, in kindergarten, no, you don't call her Emily. You call her Dr. Emily. And you know, even in junior high, she'd be like, yeah, I'm Dr. Emily. Look at that, you know. In high school, same thing. And then, you know, wonder why she got a scholarship to Harvard, and now she's, you know, a renowned doctor because she's been calling herself that her whole life. So you play pretend, you know. Remember, preview to the end, pretend. Preview to the end.
Oh, like that. Like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Pretend. So, yeah.
Hey, Glaze Innovations.
Hi, Glaze. How are you? And then here in the book, he gets to a part where I like, and oh my God, this one was like a moment, because you know how people say that they've been affirming and nothing happens? Mm-hmm. Chapter 9 has one that says, why nothing happened. I was like hiking and listening to the audio. Mm-hmm. And then I went, no way. I mean, people in town probably thought it was nuts. I don't care. And then I went to go look at the book, and I looked at the chapter, like, oh my God, there it is. Why nothing happened? So I read it, and I like what he says. He says if you're saying, like, oh, I did this, and nothing happened. Well, the reason why nothing happened is because you're saying nothing happened. You're wavering.
Yeah.
Like, there are people that say, I affirmed for my SP, and why don't I have my SP? You have to understand that the subconscious, or God, takes you at your word and saying yes, amen, all the time. It never wavers. It never changes its mind. It doesn't have a conscience. So if you're saying, I'm saying this and this and this and this, and nothing happened, God says, yes, you're saying this and this and this, and yes, nothing's happening. Yes, you're saying this and this and this, and yes, you're not seeing your SP. Yes, you're doing this and this and this, and yes, nothing happened because you're saying nothing's happening. So get rid of that. Just, or say, I'm saying this, and I know something's happening. Something's happening. Something's happening. Something's happening. I know it's happening. Something's happening. You can add that behind it instead of saying that nothing is happening. But yeah, that chapter, I was like, whoa.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi,
How you doing? Is that Devancia? Is that how you say your name?
Yeah, it's Devancia.
Devancia. Okay.
Yeah. Is that Italian?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
How you pronounced it, Devancia.
um.
Spanish too. It's pretty. I like it.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to say that I really loved your video. How you were talking about the mindset and the different concepts, because I grew up in the church. I grew up Christian and stuff, and I feel like I'm 23, and I feel like I just got out of it at such a young age, where other people are like, I'm just now realizing this at like, later on in life. But at the end of the day, it's not your fault because you were just believing, you know what I'm saying, what you have been told. And like ever since I was younger, I always questioned like everything. Like I would ask, a lot of questions and stuff. And I think that's just important for people to do, or they're going to continue to believe, everything, because I believe like not only was religion a lie, I believe a lot of things that we were told was a lie.
Yes, absolutely. I agree. It's like when you start questioning, when you first start on this road, you start looking at life from a different lens, and you see that the world was basically inverted. Everything that were told was the opposite, which is quite interesting. And you almost have to laugh at it to keep from crying.
Oh my gosh, that's me, because like I have panels too, and we will literally like sit there and make jokes like, "Oh my gosh, I really used to believe that," and just laugh at it, because I feel like that's the only thing really you can do is laugh at it, because it is funny. Like, dang, I really used to think like that.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. Yes, it's so good to see a lot of young people who recognizing the power within. Yeah, because I was in my mid-40s, but I didn't grow up in church, so I will say that I did not grow up in church. But the belief in God, that foundation was there, right? That whole sin mentality was still a subconscious belief. It was still present in my reality. I didn't join church to my late 20s, almost 30 years old. And I didn't stay long. I stayed long enough, but I didn't stay long enough where it like traumatized me in any kind of way. It just, the experience was just an experience. And I can't say that I was hurt by church in any kind of way. The only thing I probably, I gave, my 10% when I had income. I was a regular tither and giving offerings, And I wasn't necessarily doing it out of trying to get anything. I just thought that was what was required, right? We thought that was supposed to be a commandment. But other than that, once I started questioning things, it did send me down a rabbit hole and just allowed me to leave that way of thinking. But now we understand that, the power is the mind, that the Bible is really telling you the God of Scripture is really your subconscious mind, or rather your higher mind, your super mind, your super conscious, however, whatever the label you want to give it, right? Source, God, inner being. You could call it whatever you want, but that's what the Bible is telling you. The Bible is telling you that the creator in man is the mind. That's where the power lies. The
Yeah.
power is always within us.
And I'm glad because in that video, how you I think you did talk about the whole heaven and hell thing, and like I was in the comments saying like hell to me is like the hardship or the trauma that you go through, in heaven is basically like, you know, the joy and the peace, you know, that you get. And I really dislike how, you know, people will try to make it seem like, oh, like you better get it right, you know, while you're here, because, you know, you're going to be burning for eternity. And I really be telling people, I'm like, first of all, you're going to be, when you're unalive, like you're going to be disintegrating in the ground. So how would you even feel if you were burning? You wouldn't even feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's someone else. I saw someone else make that point. Yeah, it's like how how could it be if you're never burning up? Like some of the things, some of that mindset, you really do have to suspend judgment. And I just you got to cough it up too. Maybe you just wanted to experience this whole, you know, experience the lie, I guess, because we do try to make sense of, right, our rational minds try to make sense of, okay, now why are we here and what's the purpose of coming here? And we came here what, to be tricked, to be lied to be controlled, to be manipulated, and we chose this. And the reason the mind can't reconcile that, because it's like, who would choose this experience and for what reason?
Because I feel like I went through that too. Like I still be like, you know, feeling like, dang, like I didn't ask to be here. I didn't ask to go. Because especially like, you know, if you went through a lot of like detrimental things, you went through a lot of trauma, you know, like you would be thinking in your mind like, dang, like I did not ask to go through all this. I didn't even ask to be here. But I just tell people all the time, like, I'm just going to live my life the way I want to live it, as long as I'm not harming nobody, just because I like, in my mind, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't ask to be here. And if you really feel like you have to stay in this religion or Christianity or whatever it is, like, you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? It is a choice at the end of the day.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And it's good to know that you have a choice, because most people don't feel like they have a choice. They feel like, they say it's free will, right? But the free will is you only get two options.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of a free will that is if you only really have two options: believe in Jesus or suffer damnation for eternity. Like, those are the two options. That ain't really free will when you think about it. Like, what's free about that? Because it costs you something.
Yeah, you are so right. And also like on my live, like we talk about, like I be talking about like negative self-talk, like when they be like, oh, you're a sinner, and like, you know, when you leave the faith and stuff, especially if you're BLK, like, you know, I've had people on my live be like, oh, like my family try to put me in a psych ward, or you know what I'm saying, my family stopped inviting me. No, I'm being for real. I'm not trying to be funny at all.
Oh,
Like these is
wow.
people I've had come on my live and tell me these stories like, oh, you know, my family stopped inviting me here, there, and there because I'm not a believer and I left the faith, you know. So I feel like these are just spaces, you know, where people can feel loved and stuff, because behind closed doors, a lot of these people, like, they family stop messing with them, you know, and I feel like that's typical when you leave the whole Christianity and all that mindset behind, and you know, people just, they look at you like you're demonic.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of even you have to be leery of that when you come into the spiritual community too. Too many times, a lot of the different communities want to control, and they'll come in a. It's almost like they're trading religion for spirituality, and still having that concept of looking for a leader, needing someone to direct and to guide them. When the whole purpose of awakening is to recognize that the guide is within you, it's not outside of you.
Right.
Ooh, and see, that's a different. Like, I know that part. Like, I tell people all the time, like, the only person that's doing the saving is me. Like, I'm saving myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And me, like, being like spiritual and stuff like that. Like, I believe in like meditation and going into nature and all that. Like, I don't believe in trying to, like, like look for somebody like a savior and all that. Like, coming into spirituality, like, I came in this, like, this is me. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on my inner self. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm practicing, because I do believe in therapy too. But
Mm-hmm.
I will have, other stuff that I practice outside of therapy, and I'm not looking at my therapist like, oh, you're gonna save me. And I feel like that's too many mindset. Like, people are just so stuck on, oh, someone's gonna come save us, and they're gonna save us from this mess. And it's like, you gotta save yourself.
Yep, and that's what a lot of people fall into, that trap of still looking for answers outside of them, and so they they trade their pastor for their internet guru or their internet coach or their YouTuber, and trying to look for them for guidance, when no, you're supposed to, anyone that's leading you to just trust in them and say that they have all the answers, be leery of that. No, the answer is in you, because only you have to discover what it is that brings you joy and brings you happiness and gives you peace. No one else can tell you that. But
Right.
I know that fear of accountability, right? That's too much responsibility to say that, okay, if I'm successful, it's because of me. If I'm failure, it's because of me, right? And so that's what people kind of grapple with and don't want to take hold of, because we need someone to blame. And then you don't want to take all of that blame on yourself. So it's easier to look to others and say, "Oh no, I can't do this alone. Let me
He's
go."
the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Well, also, I noticed too in like in Christianity, if you question, like if you ask a question about anything, or if you question something that they're preaching, like let's say they're talking about a scripture in the Bible, and then you read it, and then you got a different interpretation, and then they're trying to tell you, no, that this is what it's saying, but it's in black and white. It's saying something completely different. I've used the example, delight yourself in me, and I'll give you the desires of your heart. It's in black and white. Ask, you shall receive. Seek, you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be open. It's in Mark and it's in Matthew. And then you say, well, if I can ask, means I can ask for anything. I can seek anything, and I can knock at any door. Oh, no. They're saying, no, that's not what it means. It means what God wants you to ask for, and what God wants you to seek, and what God wants you to find. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, wait a minute.
That's so funny,
Yeah.
because I'm not saying it's funny like that, because it's really not funny, but it's
Yeah,
just funny to
not funny,
me.
ha ha ha, but funny like,
Yeah,
huh, like,
yeah. I'm just saying it's funny because I made a video, like, I do YouTube, and I was making a video the other day, and I was just saying how, like, we're constantly being told, like, put your family first, put God first, put all these things before you, and
right.
then when you turn around and your cup is empty, you're all mad, you're all like, you're just, you feel a type of way, and you're frustrated with yourself because you didn't, like, poured everybody else's cup except yours. And I'm like, no, like, I come first. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless you have kids, now that's a different thing. But I believe if you're a single person, like, you come first. Like, you putting all this other stuff before you, and then you're gonna be drained and you're gonna be mad. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Well, we're taught that if we put ourselves first, that's conceit, that's being full of yourself, and it's not. What's wrong with putting yourself first? What's wrong with taking care of you? What's wrong with loving you? What's wrong with saying, I love me? What's wrong with that? Well, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the mindset of it. Like, oh, if you say you love yourself, you're full of yourself, you're conceited, you're selfish, you're this, you're that. God doesn't love that you love yourself. Where in the Bible does it say that God doesn't love that you love yourself? When practically the whole Bible is about love. So what's wrong with self-love? What's
Right.
wrong with loving your desires, What's wrong with desiring your desires? What's wrong with having your desires?
Right. I
A
agree
mind,
with you 100%.
it's just a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And once like with tithing, even like I remember I tithed like 2,000, almost $2,000 to a church for their roof, and then all I needed was 550 to pay my rent at the time. And what did they say to me? Oh, we'll pray for you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got mad. I went into my car and I had a one-on-one with God, and I was like, yo, God, what the blip? So, I'm over here giving into your storehouse. What about mine? Okay, well, get this. You said in your word that by the works of your hands, I command you, bet every money, donation, offering, tithe that I have given to a church, I want it back 100-fold. I want it back
And you
100-fold.
should get it back, because that was
And
a waste
yeah.
of your time. That was a
And
waste of
then,
your
well,
time.
this is what happened. This is what happened. About a week or two later, I got a check in the mail
Mm.
for $550. There's my rent payment. I got a job. At that job, I was getting bonuses. I got a $5,000 bonus, $2,000 bonus.
Mm.
And even now, till this day, I'm still getting money back from all those times that I've tithed. And now I give 10% to me. I give 40% to me. You are the house of God.
Yeah.
The Bible, nowhere in the Bible does it say that the house of God is a building. You're the house of God. I worked at a synagogue and spoken to Jewish people, and even they claim they're the house of God.
Mm-hmm.
You're the house of God. The Bible says that. God lives in you. So guess where that 10% is going? Hello.
Right.
Yeah. And let's not even talk about how these pastors and these Christians, they'll be quick to call one of us demonic, but yet when your pastor is out here essaying young girls or young kids, or putting his hands on his wife, or sleeping with the women in the church, but you can't call him out on, but that's not demonic to y'all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've seen that stuff on the ID channel. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the very thing that they preach against is the very thing they're
They
experiencing.
do. Yep.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately, that's you
you
know exactly where a person lives based on what they continue to talk about.
exactly.
when
You
they
being a
continue to say it
millionaire
like,
having a Ferrari, that's a sin. You being a millionaire having a Ferrari, that's a sin. Oh, but they can have an airplane, but you can't have a Ferrari. What the heck? No. You want a Ferrari?
no, well, and here's the
That's what I
thing.
want.
Yes, everybody wants to live well, right? Everyone, like we were reading the Power of the Subconscious Mind. These last 3 chapters we read was all about wealth, riches, your ability to have the life that you want. Just, and I know people are like, well, it's more than just thinking. Yes, because the thinking is the cause. Yes, when you impress the subconscious with a certain belief, then situations, circumstances, and events start to happen in your world that's going to confirm your belief system, whatever that belief system is, be it wrong, right, good, bad, true, false, it doesn't matter. It's what you are accepting as true that will be true for you. That's what's happening. And so, yes, you have to you have to really not look to the world for examples and for guidance and for knowing, because the world operates from a fear-based mentality. Everything is about the worst that can happen. Everything is about trying to protect yourself from evil. The focus is so much on evil and lack and not having enough and dis-ease that's you spend your whole time trying to protect yourself instead of trying to live life.
Right. It's just like he says here on this chapter, your subconscious gives you compound interest. To him that have the feeling of wealth, more wealth will be added. To him that have the feeling of lack, more lack will be added. And feeling means conviction, knowing, your subconscious multiplies and magnifies whatever you deposit in it. So if you are depositing that you can't afford something, that you can't have something, and you are consistently doing that, because when we are when we are saying things like that, we are constantly repeating it, whether we are aware of that or not. So what you do is you flip it. He says, every morning as you awaken, deposit thoughts of prosperity, success, wealth, peace. Dwell upon these concepts. Busy your mind with them as often as possible. You know, and that, you know, the more you keep your mind on what's good, on prosperity, success, wealth, peace, those ideas. You know, I am successful. My business is doing great. You know, in my case, you know, I'm constantly getting booked to play shows. You know, I play casinos. I play here. I play there. You know, people love my music. People come to my show. You know, things like that. You just keep your mind with that. I am healthy. I feel great. I feel good. You know, my organs are healthy. I'm healthy from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet, from the inside of my body to the outside of my body. And that doesn't mean that you have to do it throughout the whole day. No, you know, you don't like, you know, don't drive yourself crazy with it. But, you do it as often as possible. And whenever a sneaky thought that does not align with you or does not agree with you, because it's been there for a while, wants to get in there, and you're about to say something. And I love that he says that here in the part of the chapter where it says why nothing happens. When you're about to say, you know, I can't. They'll change it. Wait a minute. No, I can't. I can pay that. I can take care of that. Instead of saying that you can't, say that you can. And I love this. By day and by night, I am prospered in all my ways. That's a good one.
Yes. Yes.
By day and by night, I am prospered in all my ways. And he's got some good affirmations in here, and that's a good one. So it's just busy your mind with what's good, because believe it or not, there's a lot of good in the world. Mm-hmm. It's just that, you know, with TV, the news, CNN, you know, everywhere, it's like it's all, you know, bad. So, but if you start thinking on things that are good, like even if it's the sun, look how beautiful the sun is outside. Look how beautiful the trees are. You know, a bird singing, you know, or you know, your cat or your dog doing something funny. You're laughing at your cat and dog. That those are all good things. You just enjoyed a really good cup of coffee, or you know, just had a delicious apple fritter at Dunkin' Donuts. You know, there's good, but we have to put our awareness there and kind of, you know, get our awareness off of the things that we don't desire and put our awareness on the things that we do desire. And he mentions this numerous times in this book. This isn't the first time that he says to dwell on what's good. And he says prosperity, success, wealth, peace, health, etc.
Is that book on Amazon by chance?
Yes, it is. And you can also get a free PDF on it too if you want. Just Google The Power of the Subconscious Mind free PDF. Okay. And a whole bunch of free PDFs will show up and you can download it. You can get it on Kindle for 99 cents. You can get it on Amazon for like $5 or $6.
Okay.
Oh, you can get it at the library too. The library might have it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say too that I'm glad that I found people that also think like me, because when I first left the church and Christianity and stuff, like I kind of was upset because I'm like, dang, like I believed in this for so long, but a lot of things they just started to make sense because like I was praying about certain things like my family, because they're like really dysfunctional and toxic. And I was praying, you know, that because that's what I was told to do, like just pray about it. And I was praying that they would change. And then one day it just came to me, and it was like, this is just how these people are. Like if they see an issue with what they're doing, they're gonna change for themselves, not because God or you know anybody, because they have, you know, they're recognizing the issue in their life and that they need to stop. And I feel like that's when the whole critical thinking and all, I started questioning everything that I had been told. And because I have a YouTube video also where I talk about my aunt's husband, because they were pastors, and I had a situation and stuff with him at the church, and some people will try to be like, "Oh, well, you just need to find another church, and you were church hurt," and I'm just like, when it comes to the church hurt stuff, I feel like that's just downplaying religious trauma.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't realize they've experienced religious trauma.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you have to see it also from it's the blind leaders of the blind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, people are different paths and stages of their experience here on this third dimensional plane. And it's not everyone at the same time, right? Everyone comes to the awakening, everyone comes to remembering who they are at different stages and times in their life. And as someone would say on here, Elizabeth, she would say, everyone is going to come into, awakening, but not everybody at the same time.
Alan Schmidt.
Not everybody at the same time. So, is this is where you have to find this is where you find peace and understanding is operating through forgiveness, right? You have to not see your family as someone that intentionally meant to hurt you, but they're doing it from a place of ignorance. Like when you don't know who you are, you can't operate as such. Most people don't know that they're God incarnate. Most people see themselves just as sinners, see themselves as imperfect beings, and a lot of people are playing the role of manipulation, control, coercion, right? Because that's all they know. That's all they've been taught. They've been taught, you're the shepherd, you're the leader, and you got to keep your people and your congregation in line in any means necessary. And most of the means necessary is through fear and doubt and limitation. I saw a video earlier today saying that Christians actually means imbecile, and they actually are the Antichrist because they do deny the power within. They see the power only coming from the outside. They believe in division and separateness and that God has favorites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've also heard that too. That's what that word means. That they're basically dumbing themselves down. Because I feel like for you to even be a Christian, you kind of do in a sense because you have to submit your life or yourself to this outside entity, and you have to just basically do what this outside entity is telling you to do.
Yeah, and we've all been there, so we know what it means to not think for yourself. We know what it means to put our trust in other people. That the faith was outward as opposed to inward, right? Everything that we were told was outside in when it's really supposed to be inside out. That's the truth. That's the true awakening, recognizing that the power was always within you. It was never outside of you. And so you lead with compassion, you lead with understanding, you lead with love, because as the Christ was made to say in the Gospels, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they're doing, right? They don't know that they're leading people to, maybe some people do, maybe, but I would beg to differ. When you truly understand love and you stop operating from the mindset of get, and let me figure out how I can do a transfer as opposed to an exchange. That's how most people look at it. People look at life as a transaction, as a transfer. How can I get what you have and give it to myself? As opposed to how can I give value and see value come back to me? That's what exchange is. We're supposed to be exchanging value, not trying to do transfers. But that's how the world operates. So the world operates from a transfer mentality as opposed from an exchange mentality.
I believe that as children, if you ever notice a baby or a little kid, how little kids just they exude this confidence, this innocence, and I believe that as children we know who we are, but it says as we grow up we're told different, so we're told no, you're not special, no, you're not this, you're not that, so you have to get back to realizing that it's all you, because we've been doing it this whole time. We just haven't been aware of it.
Right. And I be saying that too because I'm like some of the stuff that I've been through, like, cause I was in foster care and like I went through like physical abuse and stuff by my mother and SA, and I'm like, this whole time, like, that was me, like, just staying strong, like, through all that type of stuff. Like, my dad, like, he has schizophrenia and stuff,
Oh, sorry to hear
and
that.
he wasn't really there. Well, he wasn't there. But yeah, like, I'm just like this whole time, like, I mean, it's like, it is what it is. I'm in therapy and I'm getting through my trauma. But I'm just like this whole time, like, there was no outside entity intervening in any of this. And that's why I be telling people, I'm like, I know for me, like, this is what I learned through life. Like, for me not to be like, because some people will be mad and be like, oh, like, I went through this because of God or the devil and all this and that. And I'm like, I never blame them. And I especially don't blame them now because I'm like, in my opinion, like, as a parent, like, you gotta, like, you are responsible for your children. And if you make bad decisions and put them in situations that they shouldn't be in, like, you have to be held accountable for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I hold them accountable. I don't get mad and be like, oh, this was the devil or this was God or anything. Like, this was, like, y'all brought me here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a generational thing, right? And so Prosper says, does the Bible refer to followers of Christ as Christians, or is that a new age? I believe the Bible only mentions Christians one time, and that's in Acts, right? We say, and then on they were called Christians, but you don't hear anyone, and that could have been something that was added to Scripture, right? We know the translators added things to Scripture because when Paul talks about the church, he talks about Jew versus Greek, right? He doesn't talk about Christians. They talk about being followers of Christ, but no one calls it Christians. And being followers of Christ isn't talking about following something outside of you. It's talking about being led by the Spirit within you. That's what a follower of Christ, the I am, the power and wisdom of God, as Paul reminds us. That's being a father of the Christ, is allowing the inner guidance to lead you and guide you into what? All truth.
Mm-hmm.
Learning to trust the I am within. But too many of us trust other people. We like, oh, well, they sound like they know what they're talking about. Oh, they sound really, intelligent or really scholarly, or I really like the way they said that. And so we'll have a tendency to want to follow another person's interpretation. And you just have to caution with that. Here's the thing. All the information is there, and it's just up to you how you're going to utilize it and apply it. Right? Because every book that we read, everything that we have all the information that we have, you have to be able to discern. But you'll only be able to discern once you've awakened.
Yeah. I also want to ask this because I know somebody that is close to me and she calls herself a follower of Christ. And I'm just like, okay, so what is but she also says that she's not religious either. And I'm just like, okay, when I look up religion, like, Christianity would be classified under a religion. So I'm like, I'm just trying to understand. Like,
Yeah. Some people, they say they don't because they don't attend church, right? And they're like, well, I read the Bible, I follow the
go to
teachings
church,
of
though. That's the
Christ.
part.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, are they abiding by the rules and the regulations and the doctrine of the church? Because maybe some people I just go there to listen to, the choir.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
would
really
say,
pay attention to what the pastor is saying. I'm doing me. I don't tithe. I don't give offerings. I don't do any of that. I just like communing with other people. I need something to do on Sunday morning. So
no, she does all of that. Like, she is very serious about the whole, like, Christianity stuff. So, like, I was kind of thrown back, like, okay, you're saying you're a follower of Christ, but you're not religious. So, but you follow, the whole doctrine thing. So I'm just like, you know what? Maybe it ain't for me to understand.
Right, right, right. Right. And I come to realize, at first when I came into this understanding on my awakening journey, I thought that we were supposed to go out and try to convince people of this. And then you realize that you're not here to convince, you're here to be an example. You're here to share with those who question, right? Let them come to you and seek you out as opposed to you trying to seek others out, right? Because you can't convince anyone of this truth. You can't convert. You can't make someone know their God, right? That's not something that can be told. Hey, Joy, how are you?
Well, I'm glad that, I am so glad that I do not have to go and convince. Oh my God, I hated that part.
I don't convince. I don't think I ever did try to convince people.
I never did. I'm like,
I did. Because I was in church, and so yes, I went to my sister. I went to close family, and wanting them to see that the Bible wasn't what we thought it was. That it wasn't literal. That it was psychological truth. That it's all about you. Yes, in the beginning, I was going around trying to convince my family of this truth because I didn't want them to be led astray anymore. And then I finally realized, you can't convince people of this because all it does is turn into an argument. You're just arguing over words. You're just arguing over scripture. So now it's just about just live your best life. And, if they see how your life is going and they want to change, then they'll come to you.
Right. Yeah. That's how I feel about it because I'm like, I don't even on my platform, like I don't try to convince people. Like I just tell them like this is what I got from this. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what I learned through my life experience also too. So it's like at the end of the day, like if that's what you want to do with your life, then that's what you want to do. But my thing about it is like don't shame people for leaving, the church and the whole Christianity mindset or whatever you want to call it. Like, because a lot of people they will try to shame you and be like, oh, you're demonic and you're misleading people. And it's like I'm not misleading nobody.
Yeah, it's interesting is when we tell them that, church is not the end all be all, we're misleading, but as long as they get to preach their doctrine, they're actually leading people to truth. It's just like we could say the same thing. We could say you're actually doing the misleading, right? Like we could point fingers at one another, right? That's why you can't even go into the mindset of trying to convert or convince or proselytize, as Christian church would say. I know people think, oh, you're always attacking Christians. You're always attacking. You don't attack the other religions. It's like they're all in the same basket.
Right.
All Abrahamic faith, any faith. Like I had to, I did a little Google search and I was like, well, what do Hindus think? Do they believe in a hell? Does the Buddhist teaching? Yes, all of those religions that's taken literally, they all believe in some type of torment at the end of this life. That's what I said. I was like, really? But, they was like, oh, but Hindu was this. And no, Hindu has its arm of that type of manipulation and control. So does Buddhism.
Look at the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right. They all do. So it's like, it's the ones that have realized that these sacred texts are spiritual. They're psychological. Right. They're about the mind. But not everyone that teaches those sacred texts are coming from that standpoint.
Y'all ever heard of the Clergy Project?
No.
Yeah. So the Clergy Project actually is basically it's a website, but it's a support group for basically like I guess you could say religious leaders like pastors, like the whole nine. And they don't believe in what they're teaching anymore, but they're afraid to step down. So
yeah, because sometimes that money too good.
Right. Right. So it's like, I need my goodie bag. What are you talking about? No.
But we had a pastor on here last week, Benjamin. He said he walked away from the church. He sold his church. He gave money back to the community and to some of those in his church. So, those who really know the truth don't find it afraid. And then Pastor Jesse as well. Those who really know those who are really awakened, they're not afraid to leave the church because they can't know this truth and continue to walk therein, right? When you truly identify with this truth, there's no fear there. You're willing to stand on your own. It's they're in between two minds. They really haven't decided that this is the truth. They're still trying to go between two. They're still double-minded. That's why there's fear there.
Right.
And then I took a philosophy, because I'm in college. I took a philosophy of religion class, and my professor was saying, like in one of the lectures, that people that are very religious have mental health issues. And I had like shared that with my family or whatever, and like my cousin, like he's a Christian, and I guess he got offended, but like I wasn't literally trying to offend him. Like I was just, it was interesting to me, but at the same time, like I believe that a lot of very religious people do have mental health issues, because you cannot like tell them that this is not what this is,
I wouldn't say that they all have mental issues, because here's the thing. I believe 95% of Christians don't even believe half the stuff that they say they believe. They just want something to argue about and something to defend. Because, most people is not living according to these scriptures. They're not doing half the stuff they're told by their pastors and their church leaders. Folks just want something, to argue about. I'm like, half of y'all, 95% of y'all, because I used to be in the church. Y'all living double lives. Y'all living double lives. Like, stop it. But yes, that ego don't want to be told that the wool have been pulled over their eyes. So that ego is lashing out. But most of these folks don't believe half the stuff they hear. They don't believe it.
I agree with that too.
It's a challenge.
I've been seeing that firsthand, because like my dad's side, I call them so-called Christians. That's what I call them. But a lot of the people that do be claiming that they really don't be living to none of that stuff. So
right, God, Jesus is good as long as they prayed and asked for more money. They prayed and asked go to travel somewhere. They prayed for a car note. Jesus all good, but where's the prayer for all of these ills y'all claim that's on the planet, right? Where's the prayers for that? So it's just like. But here's the thing. Everybody has their own path, right? Everybody has their own journey. All roads lead to consciousness, right? They'll eventually awaken, maybe not in this life, but when they incarnate again, because I don't believe that we die. I believe that the body is the temporal part of us. It's the part of us that was supposed to experience this third dimensional plane. But the real us is the invisible. That's the immortal you. That's the real you. That's the you that was never created, thus can never be destroyed. That's the you that's eternal. And that's the part of you cannot see. It's not operated by the five senses.
Right.
And so we're going to go into chapter 10. I know we kind of went off on a tangent, but this is supposed to be the book club, the power of your subconscious mind. And so chapter 10 says, it is your right to be rich. Yes. You are here to lead the abundant life and be happy, radiant, and free. You should therefore have all the money you need to live a full, happy, and prosperous life. Can we say prosperous in the chat? Prosperous. This is prosperous living, right? A prosperous living family. Prosperous. We came here to live the abundant life. And it's not to claim our inheritance. If you're ready for your prosperity, yes, put prosperous in the chat, guys, because you're here to live abundantly. And we gotta keep reminding ourselves of that. That's who we are. Yes.
Decide to be wealthy the easy way.
The easy way.
Like it says be wealthy the easy way. Your subconscious mind, it's got you. You don't need to sweat. You don't need to work. You don't need to slave. All you need to do is have the consciousness of wealth. And practice it. Practice the conscious of wealth. Repeat the word wealth, or say, I am wealthy. Whichever one works for you. Whichever one brings you that feeling. And add ideas. What wealth is to you. Add ideas to it. Have fun with it. The way a kid would. Be a kid. We are supposed to be like children. It even says that in the Bible. Mm-hmm. So be like a kid. Have fun with it. Have fun with your imagination and enjoy it. And don't ever, don't write blank checks. Don't start writing things like, that that it's hard, that there's a shortage, that there's this. No, there's plenty. There's prosperity. There's an abundance. And I love this script. I love the scripture. Listen to me. I love this affirmation. It says, "By day and by night, I am being prospered in all my interests."
Yes.
By day and by night, I am prospering. I am prosperous. However you want to, word it your way. What works for you. But yeah, I love chapter 10. You're right to be rich. You have a right to be rich. So if anybody ever tries to tell you, "Oh no, you're supposed to be poor because that makes you meek," because no. And nowhere in the Bible does it say that you're supposed to be poor. That's another one. I'm like, okay, first of all, I'm not supposed to want my desires. That's number. Okay, when the Bible talks infinitely of infinity of about prosperity, desires, etc. I'm not supposed to love myself or love anybody, or you're supposed to love others, but you can't love yourself. It talks about love. And now you're also supposed to be broke. No. And then the Bible talks constantly about prosperity and abundance and meeting all your needs and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, you have a right to be rich. So
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Gigi, with the poor scripture. It is one. It's the Beatitudes. And this is what the pastors love to preach, to convince you that you are supposed to be poor, because it ties right in with that manipulation and making you think that the kingdom of God is somewhere outside of you, because it says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven."
Right.
So they make you think that being poor is a virtue. That in order to obtain your heavenly state, poverty should be the way.
Right.
Because that's the way that's going to lead you to your kingdom of heaven.
Reverend Ike was like, being poor, being rich. That's you're sinning if you're poor.
Exactly. Because poor in spirit does not mean poor in the things of this world, right? No, poor in spirit is understanding that you don't know everything consciously. That the thing that you desire is in you, is not outside of you. And so that's why we have to be careful about these translations. And you definitely, if you're going to study scripture, you're definitely going to have to use a concordance or get a metaphysical dictionary. Because the way this stuff is translated, it will make you think that that poverty is a virtue. And that's what the church had you thinking, that to be poor, to be poverty was meant that you were closer to God, right? Because you have the other scripture that says, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom, right? So they take these different scriptures and they use them to manipulate you into thinking that you're not supposed to be wealthy. But then you have other scriptures telling you that you came here to live the abundant life, that God has richly given you all things to enjoy.
Right.
That is God who gives you the power to possess wealth. For it's God that makes you rich and adds no sorrow to you. That the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all that I have is thine. So that's when you get the contradiction, right? And so then it's like, well, hold up. The whole Bible is talking about the promises of Abraham, that he would have, seas greater than the stars in heaven, in the grains of sand on the seashore, and how they were always going to be led to prosperity, right? Taking you to a land flowing with milk and honey. Always we talk about Solomon being the richest, man ever, and how he asked God for wisdom, and then because he got wisdom, he had everything he could ever possibly imagine. Yet they want to convince us that wealth is not part of our experience.
Right. Yep. Yeah. But notice that they don't talk about that at church. They don't, those scriptures that you just mentioned, they do not preach those at church. They'll preach the other one, that you're supposed to be poor, and that a poor, the one about the needle and the rich man, but they don't mention the other one until you pick up the book and read it.
Yep.
See, I never really, they tried to feed me that. They tried to give me that medicine and I'd spit it right out. I'd be like, nope. Nuh-uh. Or you're supposed, no, I'm not supposed, no. The book's telling me something like, you want to believe that you're supposed, you go for it, not me.
Yep. So you have to know this stuff for yourself. Like I said, and that's why a lot of people, when they leave the church, they kind of leave the Bible alone because of the seeming contradictions that's there. But they're not contradictions, because when you understand that the Bible is all about the mind, then you get a different perspective. Then once you start to study and let the Spirit reveal its truth to you, then it all starts to make sense and it all comes together, and you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, it's not that the love of money is the root of all evils. When you make money your God, that's all it's saying. When you desire money above anything else, when you do all kind of deception and dishonesty and corruption in order to get money, when you don't have to do anything to get money, you just have to believe you already have it, and then the money will come.
Right.
That's the part that people don't tell you, that when you get the consciousness of wealth, then wealth shows up in your world. Right.
And just like in this chapter, money is a symbol.
Yep.
It's an exchange. It's a means, that's all it is. The reason why, you people do not have more money is because it's the mindset of not, of not having a money or wealth conscious. If you ever want to develop a money or wealth conscious, watch a show about, the only thing I don't like is that they argue like crazy. And I'm like, oh, y'all gotta argue. It's like, the Real Housewives of Orange County or the Real Housewives of Passaic. Listen to the way these women talk. Kind of mute out the arguing, but listen to the way they talk and mimic it. Have fun with it. Mimic it. Have fun with it. Like have you ever seen a movie and you there's your favorite part and you'll act it out and your friends will laugh with you, blah, blah. Do it. Yeah. I've been doing it with the Real Housewives. I literally watch it. I just fast forward the arguing part. But when they're talking about, oh, I got to go get my nails done and I got to go do this and I'm doing that and blah, blah, blah. I never ever hear them ever talk about they can't pay a bill, that if a bill comes in that is too expensive, that eggs are, I never hear them talk about any of that. Same thing with the Kardashians.
That's true, though. That is
Watch
true.
those kinds of shows. Listen to how these people speak and do it.
They're my guilty pleasure. I love me some housewives.
Me too. I just don't like when they argue. I just, because I'm like
you said, absent the drama. Look past the drama, because you understand that TV is entertainment. But I like it because of the wealth is portraying, right? All of the different destinations they go to, where they travel, and and they just, give you a different perspective about life, we're supposed to be living a good life, let them inspire you. That's about it, about what's possible.
Right. Instead of being jealous or saying, I can't have that. No, I can have that. That's for me. Oh, that's me right there. That's me at the Maldives wearing my little G-string bikini. There's me. Oh, that's me in Brazil. Oh yeah, I'm flying first class. Look at me, I'm flying first class because I'm rich. Look at that. I have fun with it.
Yeah, Joy. It was the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's how I found out about Dubai, and I was like, I'm going. And we got to go. So I went a couple of years ago.
Awesome.
Yeah.
As you should go.
Yeah.
And not waste your money in the church.
That part.
Yep. So, have fun with it. And believe it or not, the more you do it, you're creating by doing that, believe it or not. You're having fun with it. And
what I like about Joseph Murphy, he gives you different, he calls them affirmations, but it's really just talking, because I say your conversation is your affirmation, right? He's telling you how to communicate with yourself, how to communicate with the greater part of you. He calls the subconscious mind, right? He's like, this subconscious mind is powerful, and it's always listening. You're always giving it instructions. And so since it's always listening, it never sleeps nor slumbers. Pay attention to what you're communicating to it, because guess what? It's going to show up in your life. It's going to be a part of your experience, right? He said, infinite intelligence governs and watches over all my financial transactions, and whatsoever I do shall prosper. So he said, whatever you do, that you can't get it wrong, right? That everything always works out for you, that you can speak life over your experiences, that everything always comes up smelling like roses, right? But you have to condition your thoughts towards that. Let that be your conversation. Let that be your meditation. Let that be your prayer.
Eddie Murphy brother.
Who?
Joseph Murphy.
Oh no, he was a white man. He passed he was born in the late 1800s, and he passed in like 1981.
Names like that, Murphy. I'm like, oh, okay.
He's an Irishman. Yeah.
That's funny, but
Eddie Murphy's bro. Oh yeah, that's his cousin.
Right.
this is
That's cousin Dr. That's cousin. They thought he was nuts, so he wrote a book. And then Eddie Murphy read it, and look at that.
I mean, but I feel like it just goes to show, like, if those people, you know what I'm saying, like, I feel like people just limit themselves, like, oh, like, I'm never gonna get to that. And it's like, you can, though, because those same people, you know, they had that mindset, like, yes, I'm gonna make this happen, you know. And it's about, like, trying to take the steps to make it happen.
Yep.
Absolutely. And the thing is when you get the right mindset, this is what righteousness in scripture means. It means right thinking. So when you start thinking right about a thing, you start creating right actions, right circumstances, right events, right experiences. You have to understand that everything starts from your mind. Every action you take is based on a belief that you already hold. That's what you have to understand. So if you believe that life is difficult and that, you know, it's a struggle and you never have enough, then your life is going to confirm that to you. So different experiences are going to come into your world and it's going to say, yep, you're exactly right. That trip you want to go on, you said it's hard for you to really save money and really go where you want to go. So guess what? There's something in your household. Maybe your car breaks down. Maybe, you know, you have a medical bill that comes up. Something is going to take place in your world that's going to confirm to you, yep, money is a struggle for you. Yep, money is hard to come by. Yep, money is difficult. It's always going to happen.
And I just had another epiphany. When we are talking about what we don't want or what we don't desire, notice we don't just say, like I can't go on that trip. We don't just say, I can't go on that trip. I can't go on that. We say, I can't go on that trip because I don't have the money right now. Something came up. You know, we're adding ideas that support that affirmation that you can't go on that trip. Mm-hmm. But you're not realizing that you're adding ideas. Like somebody can say, that they're ugly. Okay, I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. We're all beautiful. Mm-hmm. They're saying that they're ugly. You're saying, no, you're not. You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. Oh, please. They're saying they're ugly because, you know, they don't look like a certain person, or you know, maybe they feel inadequate. Maybe they feel their nose is too big or their nose is too small. They don't have the right color eyes or whatever. They're giving you reasons, ideas behind that particular affirmation that they're not, that they're ugly. Oh my God. So flip it. Okay. Flip it. You're beautiful. Why are you beautiful? Oh, well, I have beautiful hair. I have beautiful eyes. I'm uniquely made. No one looks like me. You're adding ideas behind it. So I just noticed that when we are speaking things that we don't desire or things that that we don't agree with or things that we don't want, we are actually, whether we're conscious of it or not, adding ideas behind it. So what he was saying, back to chapter 9, what he was saying about I am a millionaire, he meant to say you want to add ideas behind it. What your idea of being a millionaire is behind it.
No, he said it. He said it. You got to get the ideas of wealth. You got to get the idea, the consciousness of it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that with what we don't want, I just realized that with things that we don't want, we don't just tell our friends, you know, the person doesn't tell their friend that they're ugly. They don't just sit there and say they're ugly, they're ugly, they're ugly. They'll just put something behind it, like the idea of what they perceive why they're ugly, if that makes any sense. So if you're, I mean, with beauty, you perceive the idea of what beauty is to you, whether you're saying it to your friend or you're saying it to yourself. But I get now what he meant by that. That you want to add ideas, the expression, the ideas of what wealth, beauty, what have you is to you, because everybody has different perspectives of it. It's not, you know, your idea of wealth is probably different from mine. So that you want to add that behind it, and I just had an epiphany because I noticed that when it's things that we don't want, it's like we'll say like an affirmation, and then we'll put ideas behind that affirmation that supports that affirmation, and then wonder why we keep getting the same.
Well, I think people are innately negative, and because we're born and like domesticated in a way to feel so powerless, we only know how to speak in a deficit, right? Because we don't feel like we're in control of things happening to an extent, you know? So, I noticed that when I talk to people a lot, you know, people will say, well, they'll talk about something that they want, and then they'll say, well, they'll speak of all the reasons why it won't happen. I said, well, it looks like you've already decided it's not going to happen. So you've already planned it out. You know, you speak this whole narrative in your mind that you've already decided in your mind and in your words that it's not going to happen, and your subconscious has already decided it for you because you've already spoke it, and you believe it because you don't believe in yourself, right? You don't believe that the universe and God is working for you. You think that it's working against you because you think you have to do everything when you don't know that there's a shepherd working for you. You just have to trust that shepherd to lead you.
Ooh, yes.
And you're welcome. Welcome, Mia. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Yes. Hey, Mia.
And trusting the shepherd is that trust, and that's what being submitting to God is. Trust. Submitting to your husband is trust, not running his bathwater. Trusting that he's going to lead you in the right direction.
Not running his bath.
You know, and we want to control so much, and that's where we mess up our own blessings, and we delay our blessings in trying to get in the way. And it's like, move, girl. I got you.
It's just like floating on water. When you try to float, you can't float.
Right. And you know, you panic, right?
When you trust the water to hold you up,
trust it. Panicking only gets you in trouble, right?
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, now I've been having chapter 9.
Trust is the reason why small children. I said this on the last live. You know, I work with children with autism and other disabilities, but children as a whole. And I always say children are divine. We all are divine, but children know they're gods. And that's why, you know, we get such rebellion when they're going through terrible twos, because that's when domestication gets in full fledged, right? And we're putting control over children, and we're domesticating them, and we're teaching them contingencies, right? Now to make mommy and daddy and your teachers and everyone in the world happy, you have to do what we say.
Exactly.
And they're like, no, I'm a god. I'm divine. I don't need to do what you say. You do what I say.
Exactly.
And children are very reckless, and they do things that are dangerous because they don't have fear, because they're gods, right? Children, and I work with children with disabilities who do the most dangerous things on a daily basis. And I always say this, you know, they don't come to school banged up with bruises and scratches and black eyes because they don't think they're going to get hurt, so they don't get hurt.
Right.
You know, they don't walk around in fear. They climb big cabinets to get to the top of it, and they believe that they're going to get to the top and they're going to get access to that thing that they want, and they're not going to get hurt. And
Exactly.
9 times out of 10, they don't.
They don't.
You know, and it's because they don't believe they will.
And the thing about children too, you know, you can learn a lot from kids. That's what I love that the Bible says, and a child shall lead. Because a kid will fall. Some kids will fall, and the fall can be pretty bad, and they'll get back up and like they don't care. Okay, whatever.
They're resilient.
Yep.
Because they're gods.
Others will fall, cry for about maybe a few minutes, and then get back up again.
The law
Or
of
if they get into a little argument with their little friend, they might be mad for like maybe 5 minutes. Then they make up and they're playing again together.
They have the law of detachment. They're so special, and you know, they have that detachment down because they don't attach to the world and attach to things and attach. Even if they cry and they're upset, once they kind of get over it and you work them through it, they love you again as long as everything's okay. And
we did too as children. We did the same thing as kids. I mean, there are things that we probably at 2, 3, 4, 5 can't recall.
Absolutely.
You know, we can recall probably the fun stuff, but like whatever happened that wasn't that, you know, they made us cry or whatever, we can't recall it because we let it go. And that's why we are to be like children.
I agree. So I love what the book says about all is mind and just focusing on your inner self and letting that be in control of your outside environment. And that's something that I work hard for because I just naturally, as a person that focused a lot on the outside and what's going on in there, what's going on over there, what are they thinking, and what do I need to do to make sure I'm good with this going on over there, instead of focusing inward and making sure that I'm in alignment with what I need and letting the world work for me and letting the chips fall.
Yes. Beautifully said. That's it.
So, and it always works. And I'd be like, dang, like, man, everything works out for me. And just being positive about, like, you know, the world isn't against me. I'm against me when I try to change stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I need to work with what's for me. And when I am in alignment and I'm peaceful and I am the love that I want, when I'm the forgiveness that I want, when I'm the grace that I want, when I'm the peace that I want, it comes back to me full force. And that's just something that I try to practice. It's not easy.
Well said, Mia. Well said. That was a great reminder. That's what we have to remember, that it's all within us. And when we just turn the mirror towards ourselves, so many times we have the mirror toward outward, and we want to look at what the world got going on when the mirror should be turned towards us, and we just need to be turned inward, because it's as within, so without.
As within, so without. That's what it, not without, so within, as within, so without. So you check your without. If your without is looking kind of raggedy, you better check your within.
Did y'all hear about the about that Marvin Sapp stuff when he had locked them people in the church?
Yep.
And I would have got up. Lock who in?
Well, he didn't lock them in. He just told them to
Well, he told the ushers to lock the doors, you know, until they raised $40,000.
Say what? I never heard of that.
No, he didn't say lock. He said close.
Well,
close the doors. He said, because he's like, y'all not going nowhere. Y'all just going to get some chicken. We all leaving together.
He was just doing something that black pastors do. It just looked really bad online. But we all know that these black pastors do what they want to do, and it gets really real in the church. But it gonna look bad on the line. And it looks bad for Marvin Sapp, who is a millionaire who sold lots of records and made lots of money.
I would have probably grabbed an axe and been like, "What a bet! I'm getting out of here one way or another. You're locking me in here."
But here's the thing: when you're in that situation, most people are, unless you were a visitor, you're used to his style.
Exactly.
Right? They were used to his style, his delivery.
Right.
That's not the first time he's raised money in that way. It's probably just the first time it was caught on tape.
Right. The internet was visitors. We were visitors.
Right.
They brought us into the mess.
Right.
And I think that's when it got
I would have
messy.
said, I left my checkbook in the car. I'll be right back. And he still would have been waiting for me.
But you know what? And I heard y'all talking. I was doing some cleaning earlier before I got on, but I was listening. And the church growing up, man, it's something else. Ooh, it's something else.
It's toxic to me.
It's something else. It's just something. When you just think about all the rituals and the Eastern stars and the Masons and y'all putting on the gloves and we singing there's something in the blood. Listen, we had a whole ritual on the Sunday where you drink the blood and you eat the bread. I know it was the blood.
Mm-hmm.
I know you know, Toyia. You was in there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was the blood. And they pass out that little handkerchief. All the women put it on their head. And I knew it was the blood. And they pass out that little grape juice. And then they all huddle on the altar. That's a whole ritual. And the church love to talk about witchcraft.
Right. Where y'all pretending to be drinking blood and eating somebody's body.
Yes.
Behavior, but you want to say that.
Yeah, you know, there's pastors that get online and be like, oh, meditation is demonic, yoga is demonic, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? You don't even know what you're talking about.
Them people shouting used to scare me. I was a little girl. I was like, what in the demonic? What in the exorcism is this?
The fact that the Bible says meditation quite a few times is just interesting. I mean, they love Psalm 1. I should delight, right?
Yeah.
Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he should give you the desires of their heart.
Let me tell you something. And I'm gonna tell y'all something.
How does it go meditate? It's a I can't. I'm confused in that. That's not the scripture.
And my mama was a praying woman, and I love my mama so much. And she's no longer here. And you know, going through my mom's stuff, she kept a picture of me in her favorite Bible verse. I had a praying mother.
So did I.
But one thing about Christians and about my mother, and it gives to the whole lesson on Christianity. My mama died with the spirit of fear all over her. She was afraid to take a step, to walk. She was afraid. And I'm sorry. And I always tell Christians this. I say, y'all stay in that church, but y'all scared as hell. And I just don't understand how you that big into the church and God, and you know God, and you love God, and you trust God, but you can't if you that damn scared.
If you that scared, right? So here's the two scriptures that, okay, so it says, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
Yep.
Supposed to meditate.
You're supposed to meditate.
They don't want you to meditate because that gets you in tune with yourself and God. They don't want you to find out that God is in you and you hold the power.
Exactly. They don't want you to find out that God is in you.
They want you to go to church and go talk to the preacher that's doing that same sermon.
Yep. And they omit stuff from the Bible too. Like I remember I was in church and they were talking about how there's a scripture in Revelations that says when God opens the door, no man can close it. When God closes the door, no man can open it. So they had like this whole fear thing going on with it. And everybody's like, tripping over that scripture. And I just could not wait to leave so that I can go home and pick up my Amplified Bible. So when I got home, I picked up my Amplified Bible. And I'm like, okay, what are you really trying to say with that? Because I don't buy that bullshit that was going on over there. So I picked it up and I read it. And it blew my mind. And the pastor left out the best part. But God always opens the door. The door is always open. I dropped the Bible. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like mic drop. I picked up the Bible again. I'm like, okay, let me read this again. Picked up the King Jimmy. Found it in there. It said the same thing. And then I had a revelation. You're God. So if inside you're closing a door, outside of you can't open it, because if it's closed inside, you can't open it. If it's opened inside, you can't close it. God always has the door open, no matter what. You're in charge. The door is always open. So nothing is closed. It's always open. It's always available.
Yeah.
Regardless. It's what you choose. If you choose to close it, then outside of you it's going to be closed. If you choose, you can't open it no matter how hard you try. If you open it, outside of you, you can't close it. You can't close it no matter how hard you try. Like there are people that say that they hate surprise birthday parties, but they get them. And they'll tell people, don't throw me a surprise birthday party, but they get it. Because inside they're thinking, man, every time it's my birthday, somebody's throwing me a surprise party. Every time it's my birthday, somebody's throwing me a surprise party. So even though outside they're telling people not to do it, inside they're thinking, they're going to throw me a surprise party. They're going to throw me a surprise party, even though they might hate it, but that's what they're thinking. So they're opening the door inside to a surprise party, even though outside they're trying to close it.
Yep. Great analogy. I love that. Yep. That's it.
So
I found God in nature.
it's all you. It's you.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite scriptures. And every now and then, whenever I feel that something isn't going my way, I'm like, wait a minute, whoa. Remember the Book of Revelations, you're God. Are you? And I'll say, Gigi, do you have that door closed inside? Is that door closed? And I'll be thinking, yeah. So okay, let's change it. So we're gonna open that door.
No.
And then I'll start experiencing what I desire. So yeah, I mean. Churches omit. They like to omit. That's what I always say to people. When you go to church, let the preacher teach whatever, but pick up that book and read it for yourself.
Yeah.
Read the whole chapter if you have to.
Right.
Read the whole book if you have to, because it's going to reveal some stuff to you that they did not tell you.
Yeah. And I be telling people, like, the reason why for me, church is the nature trail or nature, because for me, when I go into nature I go to the nature trail, but it's the same thing. Like when I go into the nature trail, like there's no body that's, you know what I'm saying, directing the nature trail. There's no, you know what I'm saying, nature is nature. There's no judgment. There's no, oh, well, her skirt is too tight, or she all up in past the face, and pastor trying to get with her. Like there's none of that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like nature, because it helps me have a clear mind and a clear heart, and I can think clearly, and nobody's in my ear telling me, oh, this is how you need to live your life.
Right.
True freedom. Because that's what the truth makes you free. And so it's just all about being free in, like you said, in your mind to direct it and let the guidance come up, right? Because once you tell your subconscious mind what it is you want to experience, that's all you're required to do. That's your only job, is to give instructions to the subconscious mind, to the power within. It's not your job to figure out the how or the when of its appearing. Your only job is to decide whatever it is that you want. And then that's it. Your only condition is to what? Believe you already have it. That's your only condition. Once you have decided what you wanted, your only condition is to believe you already have it. Therefore, I say to you, whatsoever you desire when you pray, which is commanding a thing to come into your experience, believe you received it, and what? You shall have it. You're not conditioned to figure it out. This is where you're told by the Christ, take no thought. You're not supposed to worry about it. You're not supposed to be trying to figure it out. You're not supposed to be trying to look and see when it's going to. If it's already done, what are you looking for?
Exactly. And there's only one. Go ahead. There's only one win now. There's only one win now.
Yep.
So you don't have to worry about one. When is it now?
Yep. And so chapter 11. Let's get to that one. So chapter 11. It says, I'm going to start off with.
Hang on, chapter 10. Poverty is a mental disease. So I love that chapter on chapter 10, that poverty is a mental disease.
Yeah, I had that highlighted as well. Yes, there is no virtue in poverty. It is a disease of the mind, and you should heal yourself of this mental conflict or malady at once. Heal thy physician, heal thyself. Stop talking about there's not enough. Stop talking about, there's some type of competition or comparison. Let that mindset go. There's no lack in the divine economy of infinite mind.
Exactly.
There's no lack in the divine economy. There's only abundance.
Yep, and he talks about how to protect your investments. Your investment is your infinite intelligence that you're putting inside yourself to protect it. Be the watchman at the gate. Don't let that stinking thinking in there. And it says infinite intelligence governs and watches over all my financial transactions, and whatsoever I do shall prosper. Oh, that's a beautiful one. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. He's got some good gems in here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yep.
So the steps is be bold enough to claim it. Be bold enough to claim that it is your right to be rich, and your deeper mind will honor your claim.
Yeah.
To claim it. Say it constantly. Be bold enough to claim that it is your right to be rich, and your deeper mind will honor it. It is my right to be rich. It is my right to be rich.
Absolutely.
And remember, poverty is a disease, so heal it by speaking the opposite. Repeat frequently. I like money. I use it wisely, constructively, judiciously. I release it with joy, and it returns 1,000-fold. Claim wealth, happiness, peace, true expression.
I gotta say, I release it with joy. I don't know if I release it with joy.
Oh yeah, release it with joy because it returns 1,000-fold.
Now it returns 1,000-fold, and I receive it with joy.
Oh, that's a good way too. Yep. That's what he said here. He said, I like money. I use it wisely, constructively, judiciously. I receive it with joy. I release it with joy. Or how Mia said, it returns 1,000-fold, and I release it with joy. Or you can say however you want. Either way, it's coming back. It don't matter. It's coming back 1,000-fold.
The giver and the receiver are both the same, right?
Exactly.
The giver and the receiver are one.
Right.
And it says here, to picture the end result in your mind causes your subconscious to respond and fulfill your mental picture. Oh, mic drop. Love it. That's one of the those notes that he has at the end of the chapter. Mm-hmm. That's number 13 on chapter 10. That's a good one to meditate on. To picture the end result in your mind causes your subconscious mind to respond and fulfill your mental picture. Love it, love it.
Right.
And stop trying to get something for nothing.
Right.
So there's no such thing as a free lunch. Meaning, you don't have to go out there and work or anything. He's talking about, give your mind the ideas and the goals that you need to fulfill your desires.
That's it.
This was a great chapter.
Yep.
Love it, love it.
Yep. And that's okay. that last part is so key when we talk about something for nothing, because everybody thinks the something you're supposed to give is money. Everybody always goes to that as you can't get something for nothing. No, the only thing you ever have to pay is attention. Right. You give your thoughts.
You have to pay his attention.
That's all. Neville Goddard would say that all the time. The only thing you'll ever have to pay is attention. Pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to the instructions you're giving the subconscious mind, because it is going to produce it. It is going to bring that experience. You're going to experience it.
And your attention is the real money.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. If Neville calls it the coin of heaven, is the mind, your thoughts. Your thoughts is the coin of heaven, because you don't money. What is just a symbol? Because stop limiting yourself, saying you can't experience something because you don't have any money. You're supposed to experience it in your mind, because when you experience it in your mind, you creating it in your world. Mm-hmm. That's
and
why
everything will be supplied. Everything that's needed to bring that will be supplied.
Yep.
So you don't even have to worry about what will be supplied. Don't even worry about it.
You desire to take a trip? Don't say I can't go because I don't have money. See yourself there. You never know, a friend, a cousin, a coworker, somebody may invite you onto the trip, all expenses paid. You're just
You
supposed to
can
see
win
yourself as already experiencing it.
Yep, you can win the trip.
Yep, you can win it. It can come in so many ways.
So many
So many
ways.
ways.
Yep.
Yep, you may be led to go play the lottery or go to the casino, and then bam, you got money to go on your trip. You just never know. You may be walking down the street, like they said, a Brinks truck opened up and money just spilled out, and people just collecting up here in Chicago. People just on just a Brinks truck, just money just fell out, and folks just gathered up the money. You have no idea what that money. That's why you're not supposed to worry. You're not supposed to give no thought to how the manifestation is going to show. That's not your work.
Yep, that's not. Like I always say, money grows on trees. I've said that numerous times. People say, "Oh, money don't grow on trees." Oh, yes, I do. Money grows on trees. And when I was living in LA, I was coming home, and right inside a bush was $20. And I was like, "Look at that! Money grows on trees." And I found money numerous times on trees. By my bank here, I left my bank to make a deposit. I came out, right, but next to the trees and the bushes there was $5. I was like, "Oh, look at that! Money grows on trees."
There you go. There you go.
I've had some really cool experiences with that one.
That's cool.
I highly recommend you use it. Money grows on trees, and you'll find money like by trees, by branches, by bushes. You'll find money. It's crazy.
Yes,
But good crazy.
yes. And so I'm gonna go into chapter 11 now. It says
Thanks.
success means successful living. A long period of peace, joy, and happiness on this plane may be termed success. The eternal experience of these qualities is the everlasting life spoken of by Jesus. The real things of life, such as peace, harmony, integrity, security, and happiness, are intangible. They come from the deep self of man. Meditating on these qualities builds these treasures of heaven in our subconscious. It is where moth and rust do not consume, and where thieves do not break through and steal, right? Because the world didn't give it to you. So guess what? The world cannot take it away.
Yep.
That's what we have to remember. The world doesn't give you anything. If you say the world gave it to you, then guess what? They build you up to tear you down. So if you're letting the world decide that you are great, that you are wonderful, that you are blessed, that you are rich, then guess what? They're also going to call you poor. They're also going to call you unwanted. They're also going to call you the scum of the earth, right? You don't seek validation on the outside. You seek validation from within. And I know that's probably the most difficult part we have on this journey, is to stop looking for others to see our value. But that has been our most challenging part, is stop looking for validation from the outside.
Mm-hmm. And I love the title, Your Subconscious Mind as a Partner in Success.
Yes.
Because your subconscious mind is your partner. You know, it's with you 24/7. It never leaves you. It never slumbers. It never gets mad at you. It doesn't stop talking to you. It doesn't turn its back on you. It's with you 24/7. You could be mad at it, but it's never mad at you. You can turn your back on it, but it never turns its back on you. It's with you 24/7, and it's your partner in success. It's what you're putting in it. It's what you're planting. You know, what you're consistently putting in it. And you know, and if what you planted before you don't like it, it's not like it's set in stone. I mean, you can uproot it and plant something new. So it's not like you have to like, oh, gee, I've been saying this and this and this and that. Oh, and I can't change it. Yeah, you can just uproot it and then focus on the new seed, on the new harvest.
Yeah, revision. Use revision. Revision is a beautiful thing.
Yes. Revision is your best friend.
Hey. Aboriginal, is that Naga? Greetings. Say from California. California in the house.
Yes, California. What part of California?
Nice.
Yeah, this book had this chapter had really good gems about how the subconscious mind is your partner. It's with you.
Yeah, it's just all about, like you guys were saying earlier, you, Mia, and Sebastian, is that life is here to support you, and we have to transform our thinking to thinking that life is against us, right? We've been told all our life that the world is against you. The world is a cruel, cold place. And now it's time to flip it on its head, to turn that around and recognize that actually life, the world, is based on your perspective about it. So once you change how you're perceiving it, that's how you'll change how you're experiencing it. And so it really does, it really is up to you to decide how you're going to live this life. And just decide right now, I'm going to be all that I desire to be. I'm going to embody it. I'm going to absorb it. I'm going to meditate in it. I'm going to marinate. I'm going to be all that I desire. I'm going to live in that space now. Live it in your mind. And then, like I said, act it out. Have fun with it. Have those conversations with it. You know, now that I have this, what am I doing? Now that I am this person, what is my daily routine? Now that I have all the money, now that I have the relationship, now that I have the healthy body, what does my life look like now? What can I go to the end that's going to say, this is it? This is proof that I am that, right? Give yourself the end accomplishment that solidifies that you are this person.
Your thought is creative. Thought fused with feeling becomes a subjective faith or belief. And according to your belief, it is done unto you. Matthew 9, verse 29. He also quotes that in chapter 10. That your thoughts are creative. You're always creating. So according to what your faith is and what your belief is, which means what you're consistently thinking, what you're consistently saying, that's how it's going to be done unto you. Because I believe faith and belief is an action, you know. And the more you stick with that faith and stick with that belief, you'll begin to feel those feelings of conviction, the feeling of having it, the imagination. It all works together. You don't have to try to imagine. You don't have to try to feel it. You don't have, it all works together. If you just relax, and he says that in chapter 8, to just relax and be with it, everything that's supposed to go with it, the imagination, the feeling, it just automatically comes together.
Say that automatically. We don't have to try to do anything, right? We're just supposed to practice being. It says, be still and know, right? Be still and know, not be still, not try to make it happen, not try to figure it out, not to do anything other than what? Learning how to be still. So important. Because we forget that we're human beings, where we're really spiritual beings having a human experience. We're beings, not doings. We be doing too much. Learn how to stop doing so much and learn how to just sit back and enjoy the ride.
We're human beings, not being human doing. We're called human beings, not human doing.
Right, we're actually spiritual beings and we have human form. We're actually not even human beings. We're spiritual beings. And we're just having a temporary experience in physical form.
Like he gives an example here of a guy named Flagler, an oil magnate. And it says he admitted that the secret of his success was his ability to see a project in its completion. For instance, in his case, he closed his eyes, imagined a big oil industry, saw trains running on tracks, heard whistles blowing, and saw smoke. Having seen and felt the fulfillment of his prayer, his subconscious mind brought about its realization. If you imagine an objective clearly, you will be provided with the necessities in ways you know not of, through the wonder-working power of your subconscious mind. You will be provided with the necessities once you have seen and felt the fulfillment of your prayer in your subconscious mind. So you don't have to worry about how. It says it right there. This guy was like a oil millionaire, and all he did was imagine and pray and see the fulfillment of his desire. And that's all we have to do, see the fulfillment of our desires.
Yes, and here's the thing. Will action be taken? Yes, action will be taken, but here's the thing. The action is automatic. You are compelled to do it. You will get mental urging, and you have to learn how to trust yourself, right? You will, when things come to your mind, Learn how to act, on them. Learn how to trust in that divine leading, that inner guidance, because it will come to you. You will be shown the way. You have to learn how to trust it, though.
Right.
Yes. Hey, everyone. Hello, Janine. How are you? Hey. The Earth Architect. What is it? The New Earth Architect. Welcome. Hey, Starseed. Welcome. Hello, Royal. What's up, Royal Nagu? Welcome.
I wanted to ask you guys. I don't know if any of y'all are into birth charts, but have you guys like looked at your birth chart?
No, I'm not into it.
No, I'm not into it.
Me neither. I don't look at.
What's your take on it?
Well, to me, it's like.
Well, not you, Gigi. I'm talking about Vincia. You said you're not into it. You're not into it.
I mean, no.
I'm talking about the one that asked the question.
No. Yeah,
Devancio, what is your take on it?
Me, well, I just kind of started getting into them, but I just think they're interesting and stuff like that. I'm still trying to understand like how to understand the birth chart and stuff, but I don't know. I just think it's cool.
Oh, okay. Now, what was you about to say, Gigi?
No judgment. Whoever's into it, and that's cool. If you think it's cool, Devancia, that's cool. No judgment. It's just for me. I don't know, because whenever they've done mine, it's I don't like the stuff they say. I'm like, no. Oh, but it says I don't care. Oh, but you're because I'm in Aries, and then they're like, oh, Aries are this and Aries are that. Even in TikTok, they'll be saying that. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm not like that. I know people that are Aries that are. I'm an Aries. I'm not like that. I'm like, and then an Aquarius is like this, is Sagittarius. I'm like, yeah, nah. We're all God's children. We're all made in His image and His likeness. We're all every horoscope sign. I mean, and I claim I get along with all horoscope signs. So, I mean, they've asked to do it. I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like Aboriginal said, that it's a useful tool. That's what you have to look at it, just a tool, right? Just like money is a useful tool, right? If you don't make it the end all be all, I understand that we're all the signs, right? You are the sign. You are the cause. Nothing outside of you is the cause. You are. And it's whatever you give your assumptions to, whatever you believe can happen will happen for you. It really is that simple. Can you get guidance from it? I guess, yes, you can get guidance from anything. You could, but ultimately you have to decide what's true for you. Right. And I say, hey, anything they say good about the Sagittarius, I take. Whatever they say negative, I don't take. I only identify with the good.
Exactly.
That's all I identify, only with the good.
My husband is a Cancer. He was born in July. My dad was a Cancer too. And that's fire and water. I'm like, well, we got along great. My dad and I may he rest in peace, were attached at the hip. My mother was a Sagittarius. May she rest in peace. Her and I are attached at the hip. My brother's a Leo. We're attached at the hip. My sisters are Gemini. We're attached at the hip. I'm attached at the hip with my husband. I've got friends that are Aquarius, Pisces. We get along great. So, I mean, because I say I get along with all horoscope signs. I get along with all people. I get along with everybody, and I rather see the good things, like you just said. If they say good things about Aries, great. They say bad things, I'm like, nope. Like that guy in this book when the lady went up to somebody went up to the sailor and said, "Do you feel sick? Do you feel that?" He's like, No, I feel fine. I don't accept it. I only see the good. So when if you start saying that, if somebody tells you, oh, you're this horoscope sign, you're not going to get along with this horoscope sign, and you begin to accept that thought that okay, all right, you're an Aries and you don't get along with Cancers, and you begin to accept that, you're going to meet people that are Cancers and you're not going to get along with them. Because already in your mind, you've accepted that because you're an Aries, you don't get along with Cancers. But if you choose not to accept that thought and say, oh no, I get along with everybody, including cancers. I don't care if they're water, if they're air, if they're fire, if they're earth, wind, and fire, the musical group, I don't care who they are, I'm going to get along great with them. So you'll meet somebody as a Cancer, a Pisces, Aquarius, or whatever sign, and you're going to get along with them great because you did not accept that negative thought that your sign doesn't get along with other signs.
Like I said, all things lead to manifestation.
Exactly.
So if you believe in it and it helps you, why would you stop using it, right?
Exactly.
Why would you give it up? You know, it's not about a wrong or right. It's about whatever you find useful, right? As they say, there's no good or bad. Only thinking makes it so. So if you think that it's wrong to do, then why would you go against your own law of being? You're saying it's wrong, so don't do something you think is wrong.
Exactly.
It's your law. You created that law for you. Abide by the law of your being. You know, it's just like saying, like, when it comes to nutrition, your lifestyle when it comes to eating. If you think that chocolate causes you to gain weight, and they say a moment on the hips is a lifetime on the hips. If you believe that chocolate is going to make you fat, then why would you eat chocolate? And you know you don't want to be fat. Until you change your beliefs about chocolate, I would suggest not eating chocolate because you're just going against your own law. You believe this to be true. So it would behoove you to eat as less chocolate as possible because you believe it causes weight gain.
See, I believe I can eat anything I want, and I stay at the same weight. And I've eaten chocolate, and I've stepped on the scale. I'm the same weight. So, because I believe food is meant to be enjoyed.
That part.
You know,
and that's a conditioning. You have to be willing to change that premise, right? Because we're always being thrown at what food is bad for you, right? No food, according to, scientists or, dietitians or whoever, nothing is good. Everything is bad because even the vegetables, they have to be organic. But then the FDA allow anybody to slap organic on a product. And so just because they say it's organic, but my thing is, everything that you grow has some type of some pesticide or insecticide, right? Has some type of chemical. So that's why you have to get out of that this is right, this is wrong, because you can find wrongness in everything and you can find rightness in everything. You just have to decide, how do you want to live your life?
Exactly. And you don't want
to live your life.
I mean, according to everybody, according to doctors and stuff, you can't eat anything. You got to starve? You not eat anything? No way. Food is way too good. Sorry. That's one I will not give up. Okay, well, then I'm going to change the affirmation. Anything I eat, whether if it's sweet, salty, whatever, I always stay the same weight. Doesn't matter. My cholesterol stays normal. My heart functions fine because my subconscious takes care of all of that. So I can eat whatever I want. Thank you.
Yep, I like that. Declarations are triggering the manifestations in my experience. And I say that what you think about, you bring about. What you constantly give your attention to is what you're going to manifest, right? And I know people like, oh, manifestation, that's new age. It's not new age. There's nothing new about the word manifestation. The Bible, as you say, the King Jimmy even talks about it. Great is the mystery. God manifested in the flesh. Now, I know people think that only happened one time 2,000 years ago in the name of Jesus Christ. No, it's every time a person, a being is born of woman, that's God manifested in the flesh. Every time someone comes into this experience in human form, that's God manifested in the flesh. Every time.
Yeah.
But that's the mystery. That's mystery, my story. Right? Too many times we've been being identified by his story, their story, his narrative, their narrative. It's about you writing your own story. What is my story? What is my mystery? How am I perceiving my reality? As a man thinks, how is my mind comprehending this third dimensional plane? Because however I'm comprehending it, wherever I'm understanding about it, that's what I'm manifesting. That's what I'm making visible in my world.
And that's what I love about this chapter too. On chapter 10, he gives a lot of examples. So for us that are in show business, you know, musicians, actors, artists, or any dream you might have, it doesn't necessarily have to be show business. Any dream, any all dreams are beautiful. He says a movie actor told me that he had very little education, but he had a dream of, as a boy, of becoming a successful movie actor. Out in the field mowing hay, driving the cows home, or even when milking them, he said, I would constantly imagine I saw my name in big lights at a large theater. I kept this up for years until I finally ran away from home. I got extra jobs in the motion picture field, and the day finally came when I saw my name in great big lights as I did when I was a boy. Then he added, I know the power of sustained imagination brings success.
Yes.
So
Beautiful.
you can be at a job working at Walmart and your dream is to become an actor. You can imagine yourself being an actor, seeing your name in lights, being in movies, and playing it over and over. I know the power of sustained imagination brings success. You have to commit to it. Keep your faith with it. Keep consistent with it. Keep playing that picture over and over. And the day will come and it will happen. I mean, I love that. I'm going to start using it. I know the power of sustained imagination brings success. Ooh, love it.
Oh, yes. Just remain faithful to it. You just gotta, I know people get a little discouraged, but that's why scripture tells you do not grow weary in well doing. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Even when things may seem like there's no possible way it can happen. Know that there is nothing impossible to your mind, to your imagination. If you can conceive it, you can achieve it, right? And you just have to keep telling yourself that because the end is not over, the end has not been written, the story is not over. If the thing that you're desiring has not come to fruition, then that means there's more life to live. There's more experiences to have. Oh, thank you, Aboriginal. Yes, you can.
I have a question. So, with you guys, now that you guys have this mindset, or when you first started getting into it, did you get like backlash for it from like family members, or you just don't discuss it with family members?
No backlash from me, because when I came into this, I started my awakening in 2018, but I had left the church in like 2007, 8, something like that. So I had been left the church
from a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when I left the church, I was already questioning the teachings, and I had kind of went down the rabbit hole. I was like seeing like the contradictions in scripture, and I started reading up on atheism and started looking at how it seemed like the Pauline doctrine didn't line up with Jesus's teaching. So I was already having my questions and concerns. So I had just left church altogether, and no more to do with it. And then not until 2018 that I had to come to get my true answer and understand that the whole time the Bible's talking about me. Look at this.
I never
Of course, I had family that was still in the church. I'm sure they probably said something. They never said it to my face, so I'm sure they said some things, but they never said it to me.
She wrong for leaving the church. She need to come back. She lost.
Yeah. I never really told anybody. I just I believe the scripture says in the Bible that what you do with God in secret. So
Okay.
what you do with God in secret, he rewards you in public. I'm paraphrasing. I mean, if somebody asks me, like, oh, how is it that this and this, I don't gatekeep, I share it because, it was freely given to me. Why not freely give it to somebody else?
Right.
But I don't like share it because I know some people are not ready for it.
Yeah.
I don't feel like hearing any backlash about it. Oh, you got the devil in you. Oh,
Yeah.
no. I'm like, no, I don't feel like hearing that. So that's one of the reasons why I left the church.
Mm.
Here especially, because here I just felt like I was a pilgrim in 1875, and too much self. They call it, I call it self righteousness, but it means like thinking they're better than everybody else, and if if you do something, or if you say something, or if you listen to some kind of music or whatever, you're going to hell, and I don't know. And then like I saw a lot of a lot of hypocrisies. You know,
Right.
if somebody is going through something, I don't feel like I should. Oh, because I found the light, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna point my finger at you. I'm not gonna do that.
Right. Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not gonna judge you. Like I remember being at the church there. I went there. They had a food pantry, and I believe the food pantry is for people who need it. You know? So the pastor called me, and he said, if you want to grab these beans or whatever, go to the food pantry and get it. Okay. I got there, and there was this really nice girl with two little children, and you can tell she was, what they say, going through. She went through something, and so I found a packet of steaks, and I was going to take it, and then she was like, "Oh, is there any more steak? Because is there any more?" And the little kid was jumping up and down, going, "Yay, mommy, we're going to have steak! We're going to have steak!" And there was only one packet. And I turned around. I said, yeah, you're going to have steak tonight. Yeah, look at that. You're going to have steak. Look at that. And he gave me a hug and everything. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, take it. I was like, girl, I've eaten so much cow. I can give birth to one. Take it. It's yours. I said, maybe God put me here so that you can have it. Well, there were these proclaimed religious people. Oh, I wouldn't have given that. I would have kept it for myself. So I'm thinking I'm looking for the beans, and I'm kind of like, making fun of them to myself. And I said, you know what? As I give, and it is given unto me, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I said, let that steak bless those two, and may they get more steak. So I'm led to this other refrigerator, like one of those like flat refrigerators, and I don't even know what the heck led me to it. And I opened it, and I stick my hand in there, and all of a sudden I'm like digging, like in the bottom. And I'm like, what am I looking for? And it felt like something was leading my hand. And all of a sudden my hand goes on this big piece of thing. And I was thinking it was bread. When I pulled it out, no joke, guys, it was this big ass London broil. And I went, what? I was like, and I'm jumping up and down holding this big thing. Mind you, I'm on my bike, so I got to bike this thing back to my house. And I'm jumping up and down, and then the ladies were, where did you find that? I'm like, it found me, because I wasn't looking for this. And they're like, oh, so you got that? I said, yeah. No, honey, you got that? I'm like, yeah, it was given to me, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Oh my God! So that packet of meat, of steaks that I gave to that poor girl with her kids, I ended up reaping a London broil. Now, I went looking for her to give her the London broil because I wanted to bless her with more meat. And I heard a voice in my head say, where are you going, Gigi? That London broil is for you. I already took care of her. That's yours. So I brought it home to my husband, and my husband's like, where'd you get this? I mean, and I didn't even know how to cook this thing. And they were like, well, yeah, we can Google it. So we took it over to our friend's house, and he cooked it on the barbecue thing, and it came out really good. And we had like London broil for like we had London broil for like over a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there you go. And they were supposed to be, you would think, oh, let's give her meat. Let's help her out.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the whole time saying, oh, yeah, I would have never given her that meat. I would have kept that meat for myself. Why would you give it to her? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, didn't you see the circumstance that this poor girl was in? Didn't you see it? I mean, I was going to at first take it, but I felt bad. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to give it to her. Somehow, some way, it'll come back to me in a good way.
Right.
So, and I saw that a lot at the church. So they're talking about God's love, and you know, you're supposed to love your neighbor like you love yourself,
Right.
but it's all lip service and it's all talk and no action.
Yep.
Because that would have been a perfect example of showing me God's love. You saw that this poor girl was going through something. I didn't ask her what she was going through, but you can tell that, you know, she's trying to get her life back together, but, you know, slowly but surely. And you got these little kids jumping up and down that they're going to have steak. I mean, with good conscience, I could not like say, okay, I'm going to take this meat for myself. Well, forget them. No, here, take it, you know?
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of that in church. A lot of like, especially here in the churches here, not so much in LA. Like in the churches in LA, I saw that the people really did help one another.
Mm-hmm.
At some churches, you know, but here I see this like piety, you know, like, oh, I would never listen to rock music. That's the devil's music. Or I would never wear a shirt like that or a skirt like that. So, I mean, I was rocking their world because I'd be walking in there with high heel boots, you know, my Motley Crue t-shirt on, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and my G-clef earrings and my, you know, and it's like, you know, according to them, I was a Jezebel, but I didn't give a shit. But
That's what I was saying
you
about
know,
nature. I'm like, you know, when I go to the nature trail,
yeah,
nature is not, you know, criticizing me on my outfit or telling
exactly.
me that I need to, you know, have my skirt all the way past my knees or anything like that.
Exactly. You know, and if you don't want people to criticize you, just affirm. Everywhere I go, nobody criticizes me. They compliment me. Everywhere I go, I get compliments. People compliment me. No matter where I'm at, people say, "Oh, you look nice." People are always complimenting me, and you won't get criticized.
Yeah, you really do have to program yourself with the life you want to experience.
Exactly.
You really do have to tell yourself, give instructions to the subconscious mind what you want it to magnify and project into your world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how Joseph Murphy would say, right? He was like that everything that you're imagining is projected on the screen of space. That you are your subconscious mind is the projector, right? Yeah. And you're giving the film and is your thoughts, and you're impressing that film, those thoughts onto the subconscious mind, which is going to project it onto the screen of space. So you're always writing the movie. Like Neville Goddard said, you're not only the star in this production, you're the producer, you're the writer, and you're the director.
You're
also
the editor,
the
casting director
as well. You get to redact. You get to change it up. If you don't like the way the script is performing or coming about, change the script. You don't try to change people. You change you.
Right.
So many of us like to look outward and we think, oh, I gotta fix this person, or if this person was just nice, or if this person. No, you the one saying they're not nice. So guess what? They're not going to be nice to you. Right. You're saying they don't like you, so guess what? They're not going to like you. If you change your perspective, then the world would change. Yep, woman in the mirror. Say wicked people dressed in nice suits and big hats.
Well, that's how the Christians, they so fixated on saving somebody and judging them and, oh, I need to save you because you're not living right, that, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to their own personal life, they don't even know how to save themselves.
Right. Well, they just represent the world. And so they're in the same boat with every other religion. Everyone that they're part of the society that's asleep. Right. You have two types of people in the world, those who know who they are and those who don't.
Yeah.
Right. And then in those two groups, every group has levels to awareness. Right. So those who are asleep, they have levels of how depraved they are and the type of actions they will take. And then those that are awake, there are different levels to understanding of knowing that you don't need any tool outside of you. But some of us take time to come to that realization that you only need is your mind. Your mind is the cause. Now, do we use tools? Do we use crystals and sage and birth charts and tarot cards and all? Yeah, we use those things. But you'll come to realize, as scripture says, forsake all and follow me. Forsaking all is forsaking all external things to you and only following the mind. the
Right.
Christ within, because that's
Oh
all
wow,
you
nice
need.
job. I like that one.
Yeah,
I
because
like.
it's like you can use those things, but don't let it define you. That does not define.
Right, exactly. Yep.
I like teas. How's it go? Something and follow me. Can you say that again?
Oh, forsake all. Well, that's scripture.
Forsake all and follow me. I like that one. Nah,
It's
I
like
like it.
everybody's looking for validation. Oh, God's gonna validate me, my mama, my daddy, my sister, my brother, my aunt, my uncle, whoever. And it's like I'm that type of person where like I don't need none of them people to validate me. I validate my own self.
Exactly.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
So chapter 11 here, I like that he gives examples of how people manifested their dreams. There's one here about a pharmacist, how his dreams became a reality. And because it's a pretty long chapter, so I'm just gonna go through it real quick. It's like he wanted to be a pharmacist, and that they gave him the hey, why don't you open your own pharmacy instead? And then he was thinking that because his answer was that he had no money, so he began to awaken to the fact that whatever he could conceive as true, he could give conception. So the first step that he did was he realized that he awakened the power of his subconscious mind, and he also visualized having money in the bank or what he needed, and then eventually he ended up getting his store. But he saw his store in his imagination, and he became recognized as a successful pharmacist in his field. And it says, act as though I am and I will be. Oh, I like that one. Act as though I am and I will be.
Yes. That's
So
it.
it's like once he took his focus off of money and he just focused on having the pharmacy already existing in his mind, just like the oil guy did, like Fagler did, imagined the end. He got what was necessary. The necessities came in to bring that that vision, that goal into fruition and into being. So it's not all about money. Don't ever let I don't have money. Don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
Because you can get it in a gazillion ways.
Yep,
But
the
yeah,
how is not your work. You're just supposed to what? Live in the end. Decide what it is you want. And really just learn to practice saying what it is you want and then letting go. And letting go means not worrying, not operating in fear or doubt. Stop trying to figure it out. That's what letting go means. Letting go of the how. Letting go of the when. Knowing. Being still and knowing. Trusting. You've given instructions to your subconscious mind. Don't go plant the seed and dig it up trying to see if it's growing or if it's happening or not.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be like the farmer who's planting seeds. Once they plant the seed, they don't go back the next day. Let me see how it's coming along. Let me dig it up and see how far it has taken root. No. They let it have its perfect work, right? As James tells us, let patience have its perfect work. Because when it does, you will come to realize that you are perfect and entire, lacking no good thing. You have to allow patience, perseverance. You have to just remain steadfast, diligent, consistent. It does take discipline. The 12 disciples are the 12 disciplines of mind. You are to discipline faith. You are to discipline love. You are to discipline righteous judgment. You are to discipline courage. You are to discipline detachment, who Judas represents. The discipline, letting go of the belief in loss. That's who Judas represents. He becomes a disciple and he experiences detachment, the letting go of the old state, the old mind that says that things can be lost. No, nothing is lost in all of my holy mountain. You're supposed to discipline this mind. become self-mastery. Master yourself.
Yep.
Yep, that is the power of the subconscious mind, literally. Yes.
Yeah, he gives a lot of good examples here of like one guy named, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Goth or Geth.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no, yeah.
Used his imagination wisely when confronted with difficulties and predicaments. In one of his biographies, he was imagining a wealthy friend of his congratulating him, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said that he imagined his friend giving him the right or appropriate answer, accompanied with the usual gestures and tonal qualities of the voice, and he made the entire imaginary scene as real and as vivid as possible. So he began to have an imaginary conversation with a multimillionaire banker friend of his who used to congratulate him on his wise and sound judgment. So, I mean, you can even, in your mind, imagine like a friend of yours or a family member of yours, if, doing something for you, giving you something, congratulating you, what have you, as long as that imaginary scene or scenes are real and as vivid and as possible. They got to be real and vivid to you.
Yep. Got to make it natural. Got to make it feel normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's like you're creating a memory, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like when you talk about your childhood, right? You're telling something as though the way you remember it to be, right? And it's to you when you go back into that memory bank, you're like, yeah, I know it happened just like this. I remember when I fell off my bike, man, I remember I was riding. So like you can tell exactly, you can see yourself, right? As you're telling the story and how it happened. That's how it has to be when it comes to the things that you're desiring, because the mind, right, doesn't know the difference between something that has happened or something that is imagined, right? It looks at it as both the same thing. Right. So whether you're telling a past event or you're telling a future event, to the mind, they're one and the same.
Yep. I mean, even Dr. Joseph Murphy himself, he said that he wanted to sell a house in Los Angeles, and he had put a sign saying for sale by owner, and then he was asking, supposedly you sold your house, what would you do?
Right.
And then he answered his own question, and he said, I would take down that sign and throw it in the garage. So in his imagination, he took the sign, pulled it out of the ground, and threw it in the garage. He kept imagining getting rid of the sign because the house was already sold.
Yeah.
And so he felt the inner satisfaction of it all, realizing that it was finished. He said the next day a man gave him $1,000 deposit and said to him, take down your sign, we will go into escrow. So immediately he pulled up the sign, got rid of it, and put it in the garage. So he kept playing over and over in his mind that, his house is sold, so he doesn't need the sign anymore. And he saw himself putting it in the garage. And it's like you're looping that imaginary act or that imaginary scene. It's like, you'll be watching a funny movie, and it's so funny, you'll rewind it and watch it again so you can laugh at it.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a show where the woman sticks it to these people, and I was like, oh, I gotta see that again, and I rewind it back, or in a Spanish soap opera, when the wife slaps the crap out of the husband because he was cheating on her, I'm like, oh, I gotta watch that again, So you loop it over and over. And you don't have to loop it like 1,000 times a day or anything like that, but you loop it a couple of times, and as the more you loop it and the more you repeat it in your mind, the more you will begin to feel that inner satisfaction that it's finished. Yeah. That's the feeling that they're talking about. That feeling that they're talking
that is
about.
Something that has really happened. That's right. That's what you want. You want the experience that, yes, this thing actually took place. Exactly. Right? I always tell you about, how I use revision, right? That something happened that I didn't like how it happened. And then I kept telling myself, well, what actually happened until I convinced myself that the thing that didn't happen, the thing I wanted to happen did happen. And but you have to keep telling yourself, because you have to keep reminding yourself, because the mind wants to go back to what it thinks took place. And you have to tell your mind, nope, this is what took place. This is what actually happened. You have to remain faithful to the new script, the new way of thinking.
Yeah. I just love this conversation because I can have these conversations all day with the right people, and stuff
Same
like
here.
that. It's just positive, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's down talking, nobody or nothing. Like, this is literally how to elevate your life, It's not about, like, oh, well, you didn't do this right or you didn't do that right. It's really like, we only, you know what I'm saying? We're only here for however long. And, you need to make the best of it. You need to be happy while you're here. Don't wait until you're alive to try to find some joy.
Right. That's it. Too concerned about what happens when we're not in the physical body. Why are we concerned about that?
Yeah,
Why not just be concerned about the now?
I tell people I'm not fixated on that. I'll deal with that when that time comes. I'm not
Exactly. What do you think is going to happen when you die? I really don't really know. I have assumptions. I heard people say what their near-death experiences were. I've read books about what people say is on the other side. But right now, what I do know is I'm in the here and now, and that's where my focus is.
Right now, I know I'm about to go to the nature trail, and that's what I'm about to worry about.
That part.
We weren't worried about being born.
That part.
When we came out of our moms, we weren't like, how are we born? We don't even remember it.
Nope.
It's stored in there, but we don't remember it. Thank God.
Okay, this has been we're heading on the 3-hour mark. So I'm going to get ready to close the live. Any final? What'd you say?
Yeah. Before you do, because read this chapter, guys, especially he also talks about how scientists use their subconscious mind. That's a really good one. He talks about Tesla and Einstein, how they all these like powerful scientists from back in the day and even now.
But you know what, Gigi? I believe that's the 12th chapter, because when you finish the 13th chapter, I don't think it was labeled, because whoever compiled the book, it go 11, then it goes to 13. You know that this is the end of the chapter once you see the highlighted points, because he gives like 13 highlighted points, and then he goes into that scientist thing. Because I had read that too, and then I'm like, well, where's chapter 12? And I'm like, oh, that had to be chapter 12, but they forgot to highlight it.
Oh, snap!
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's chapter 12?
That's chapter 12.
You said something.
Yeah, so we'll be reading chapter 12, 13, 14. Chapter 12 is literally right after the highlights of chapter 11. It's not in some renderings you won't see chapter 12 highlighted or it labeled as such, but it happens right after those 13 highlighted points in chapter 11. So we'll be reading chapter 12, 13, and 14 for next Sunday. Wednesday we'll be back, and Wednesday we're going to shift gears, and we're just going to make it about success stories. We did it last Wednesday, and it was so amazing. We had like 5 or 6 people come up and give their manifestation stories and how the things that they were desiring came to fruition. Oh, and it was such a beautiful time. Everyone was just sharing, how they applied the law and how they manifested their realities. So it was so good. So we're just going to stay on that theme on Wednesdays, wonderful Wednesdays, whatever we want to say, manifesting with, however you want to say it. And we're going to have the same type of format. You're free to come up and share your journey of manifestation. And that's what we're gonna do on Wednesdays. So I decided I'm only coming on 2 times a week, Wednesdays and Sundays. Sundays book club, Wednesdays success stories. But I do have the YouTube, so you can catch lives and new videos there. I have the Facebook group where you can come and join and share. There you can share your stories and your favorite books or quotes or videos, as well. Ask any questions if you have any pertaining to manifesting. And so just it's really been Amazing. Yes, it was amazing, Janine. It was.
Is your YouTube
Just remember that
in the bio?
Yes, it is. The YouTube is called Prosperous Living with Toyia. The Facebook
Okay.
group goes by the same name as
I'll
well.
subscribe to it. Will you subscribe to mine?
Yes. What's the name of it?
It's my same name that's on here. The link is, I think the link is in my bio on this account.
Oh, okay.
But if not, it's the same name that is on here, Devancia_TV.
Okay, cool.
And I like the points here. If you imagine an objective clearly, you will be provided with the necessities through the wonder working power of your subconscious mind. So whenever that comes, how is this going to happen? Meditate on that. If you imagine an objective clearly, you will be provided with the necessities throughout the wonder working power of your subconscious mind. That's number 7 in chapter 11. That's one of the points. Your thoughts fused with feeling becomes a subjective belief, and according to your belief, it is done unto you. The feeling is certainty, knowing, I got this. Like they say, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one more. The power of sustained imagination draws forth the miracle working powers of your subconscious mind. So chapter 11's got some good points. 7, 8, and 9, from 7 down, they're good, especially 7, 8, and 9 are good ones to kind of feed your mind or free your mind.
To your YouTube channel.
Yep, because it says the idea of success contains all the elements of success. Repeat the word success to yourself frequently with faith and conviction, and you will be under a subconscious compulsion to succeed. Compulsion, which means you will be compelled, is automatic. When you have the consciousness of health, wealth, success, love, peace, and joy, that's what you will express. What you impress, you express. So you don't have to worry about how it will be expressed. It will naturally happen automatically.
Yep, if you wish to sell your home or property, or if you're in sales, affirm slowly, quietly, and feelingly as follows. Infinite intelligence attracts to me the buyer for this house or property or whatever it is that you desire. Who wants it? Prospers in it. Sustain this awareness, and the deeper currents of your subconscious mind will bring it to pass. So you want to keep the storehouse full with your subconscious mind with the things that you desire. And those little negative thoughts are tricky. So if one slips in there, affirm the opposite. Affirm what you desire. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Thank you. I can. Thank you. Thank you. I can. Thank you. This household. Thank you. Somebody bought it. Keep your mind on what you desire. You can talk back to something that is, if something's not, you can say no. No, that's not what I asked for. This is what I asked for. This is what I'm believing. And give thanks for exactly what you're believing. And let it be. And watch.
Yeah, you have to learn how to be easy with yourself. Don't give yourself grace. Don't beat yourself up. Don't fall out. Oh my goodness. All that triggering and downward spiral and all that. Let that type of mentality go. Loose those words from your vocabulary and just learn to just be like, okay, like Gigi said, I thought that, now I can think something different. It's not the end of the world. Guess what? The end of that, what ends your current reality, your current world? Changing it and creating a new one. Mm-hmm. How do you change and create a new one? With new thoughts. It's really that simple. When you change your mind, you truly do change your world. Stop complicating it. It really is that simple. It really is.
And stop saying nothing.
That's too easy, but light and easy. My yoke is easy and my burden. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. Light and easy is the way.
Easy like Sunday morning.
Yep. Easy like Sunday morning.
Yep.
Yep. So thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Gigi, once again. Beautiful. I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that came into the chat that shared their knowledge, their understanding, their life on the chat. Thank you so much, Mia and Devancia. Thank you so much for coming. And have a beautiful, wonderful day, guys. See you guys Wednesday with your success stories. How the law has uplifted and transformed your life for the better. That's what we're talking about.
What time Wednesday, T?
I don't know. I'll probably do it in the evening, probably about 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Yep, somewhere around there, between 6 or 7. I'll do it in the evening.
Awesome.
Yep. All right, guys. Catch you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you again.